Hello, good day, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to our 89th podcast. I don't yet have a name for this one just yet, but I'm sure when it goes out, there will be a name in the title as well as a matching picture. But I'm thinking so far, I'm going to say
sorry.
Rome is riding dirty. That's all I got to say right now. Rome.
I wish it was riding dirty, I guess. Maybe. That sounds more exciting than it was
messy. Because we've definitely had podcasts called Messy Madrid or something or whatever. But before I go any further, let me introduce my two co-hostesses with the mostesses. First, we have the lovely Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel. And I have to say, I actually saw and touched Andreen this past week.
Why you gotta say you touched her, you freak?
Because I can see her anytime. We live in a Google Skype age. I can see her anytime. But to touch her is quite different.
Yes, see? touch.
Yes.
Because she's so lovable.
Yes, and she was hanging with people from that Step podcast, outrageous. How outrageous is that? But I saw her for a few hours while she was, while she made a day trip to New York. She got money like that. You know what I mean? Who day trips to New York?
It was fun though.
She's gonna be our official sponsor.
I know, right?
I'm working on it.
If you like taking buses. So, and we can't give any sound effect this week, Andreen. Unfortunately, people have been complaining.
All right. I'm already a sound effect. What?
Yeah.
There you go.
And we have Janina from Foreign Ohio, the Cato Kalin of podcast, also known as Laverne. I just swore that the L in her name meant Laverne, and she told me, nah. And I'm like, you're crazy. So,
what does the L mean?
Lee.
Ooh.
I mean, exactly, right?
She says, ooh. Thank you. Janina Lee, that's me. Yes, that's me.
And the homosexual of podcast, it's Realz here on the microphone. And I think this week
microphone check 1 2 1 2.
Exactly. me. Trying to make sure my voice stinks.
Are you wearing a onesie in keeping with the trend?
Is it a onesie or it's called something else, isn't it?
People want to call it a jumper or jump skin or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Forever, I'm gonna call it onesies because that's exactly how I think about them children.
Well, a friend of mine went off on Facebook and being like, "Why are people coming for these men who are wearing these onesie when they be going to see their man in onesies in the prison?" And I was just like, you know what? I'm not touching that.
I'm not touching it either.
You know what I want? You know what I want? I want someone to bravely wear a onesie on the tennis court.
Oh my God, Novak would do it.
I was just about to ask
Sasha Zverev do it. I think Sasha could pull it off.
No, he's too skinny. That would be scary. Novak would be scary too. You know who might look good? Stan.
Oh God! No. Stan should Roland Garros with a onesie.
Grigor. I think Grigor will do well in a onesie. And Grigor,
he's skinny now too.
You need to come out there with a hot belt, a fierce belt, and a pocketbook.
If Grigor dances, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'm telling you, come out there with a nice belt, with a little bedazzled belt.
Where does this even come from?
I don't know. Clutch to match, and
we're blaming Black Twitter. Now I definitely want someone to show up with a onesie.
It better not be you, Monfils. It better not be you.
Oh shit! Yeah, because I don't think he wears underwear.
Monfils, he has to. He has to.
Somewhere. Come on now.
He has to wear underwear. He got a big salon. I'm just letting you know.
Sometimes it seems
awfully free. Started out fast.
Because he got it like that, lady. He got it like that. He needs an underwear.
Okay, so wait.
Can't be running around with that.
Wait. So your top 5 people you would like to see show up with a onesie are?
Ooh, okay. So top 5 in a onesie.
Quick.
Songa.
Quick.
Yes.
Novak, just for straight up fucking laughs. Rafa would look good in a onesie.
Yes, he got the booty for it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Stan. And I'm gonna go with Fifi Lopez, because he's got ass for days that people just don't talk about, and I don't know why.
Yeah, the Spanish guys, I gotta say, the Spanish man hold down the booty. I'm telling you.
Man, and you know what? I want to see Federer in a onesie again, just strictly for laugh factor, because I bet there would be hair coming out all over the place.
But you know what? Federer will get a banging onesie from Anna Wintour, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a high-class man onesie, haute couture.
And he needs to wear it on one of those fake rugs.
Be lounging in a onesie. Yes. And instead of having a clutch, he should come up with Norman. That's what he should do. A belt, a nice fancy onesie, and Norman in his hand. And he'd be like, bitches a day out to laugh at this shit.
The only one I want to add to your list is Burditch. I think Burditch would look good in a onesie.
Ooh, he would look good in a onesie. Ooh, yeah.
But you know he just triple himself and fall in the dirt, right? You know he just make a mess of it when he comes down the runway.
I talk about practical.
I don't really know what you ruined there, but I'm all for it.
Practical thoughts.
Because Burditch just doesn't come out. I mean, like the sex appeal that Burditch has is that he's not even aware that he's sexy.
I know he could do better.
Because he's too dumb.
He could do better with that.
Exactly. You put him in a onesie, then he's gonna start feeling himself, and it's just gonna be wah. No,
a onesie, Sasha, because there'd be no shirt to lift.
What would he do? He'd probably be rubbing his gums all the time.
Okay.
You know who I want? And the last one I want.
I'm gonna pull us back from the onesie riff.
No, wait. I want Murray because I know he's gonna wear one 3 sizes small.
It would be great.
And it's gonna be a hot fucking mess. The sleeve is
we
gonna
can
be
see how pasty he really is.
Oh, that's great. Oh my god! Actually, that's like a thought I don't even want in my mind. Murray, that onesie.
Mm-hmm. And I know Rafa's onesie is gonna be short.
Yeah.
It's gonna be short.
It's gonna be like, weird though, because how is he gonna accommodate his ass?
How's he gonna pick his butt?
It's gonna be weird. You're gonna need a belt.
Oh
that's what I'm saying. A bedazzled belt, boys. Boys bedazzled that belt and a clutch. But anyway,
you know what?
Let's get.
I love us.
Oh, that was great. That was fantastic.
Hey, sometimes the unplanned parts are the best.
Oh, that was good.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So what's up in the tennis?
Direct to fearless leader.
Okay, so we had Rome, and I'm telling you, I gotta say, I am very, very, very surprised at the results.
Yeah, actually, they're too surprising.
Yeah, on the men and the women's side. I mean, I wouldn't have picked Svitolina unless Korba was in the final, and I know Sharass wasn't getting there. So, I mean,
you know what Svitolina's like. You know how Svitolina peaks? She peaks out, and we're like, "Oh my god, she's gonna be ready for that slam."
No.
Svitolina is silently snatching wigs, guys.
Four titles.
But I'll tell you what.
Fourth title.
Svitolina just smells. She's like, who is the number one trending woman on the WTA right now? Who is trending for real tennis? I'm such that way.
Listen,
whatever concerned about the extra fancy shit. No, she's not about all the tennis. She's saying who's playing top tennis right now.
Because I'm coming for you.
Exactly. That's what Svitolina is. She's doing the power ranking. Maybe Justine told her we still do extra point treatment. Like if you beat the top player, you get extra point. No, girl.
Hey.
Well, how was the final? I mean, it was long at least.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't see it, so. But I know
it was good. It was a good quality match. I thought that what's her name as always? She came on playing firing and also Simona. But she moves very comfortably on the clay court.
She has,
of course, she's not a girl who really. She doesn't want to move. She wasn't want to move forward, but she was definitely hogging the baseline, and she was moving well. In the first set, I think she was up 5-2. Then lost on nerve when she was serving for it, and then Svitolina broke back, and then she finished. She served it out. And she has a very nice kick on herself.
Did she? She
called
on her leg? Did she twist her ankle?
I heard something about an ankle injury.
I'm not gonna put that as an excuse.
But I mean, you listen. I'm putting it out as like a note in the column, just in case she falters at Roland Garros, right?
What do you mean, just in case? Of course she'll falter.
Listen,
Come on.
I'm trying to be generous.
Why?
I was actually excited because I was
You
just
know
like,
what?
look,
I decided I was going to be jealous because I was saying to myself, you know what? Simona Halep has done a very good job of she basically struggled tennis through
Madrid,
which I think, for somebody like her, that's
2016?
really great because, usually at the first sign of trouble, she's been faltering. So for her to basically come back from the brink several times and get herself that title, I was like, oh, good for her. And then she was even the one talking sort of loudly about how she wants to sort of rely less on her coach, which I guess it's gotten through the grapevine that that's something that people maybe assume about her. So, so I was like, I might have to give Simona her props. I'm still going to give it to her too, because she got to this final.
Well, you see, I would have given her massive props had she won this, because I was ready to roll out the props and say, hey, girl, look, Madrid is a fluke, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But you come back and you back it up in Rome, girl, you're doing good. I might have to watch you. I mean, like,
I'm going to tell you what the problem for me was.
What happened?
I woke up this morning, I checked the scores, and at this point, she had taken the first set. And I said, damn, Simona's actually going to win something. And then I went back to sleep. Okay? And then I got up.
You had in seeing the win.
I know, right? And then I got up and I saw that Svitolina won, and I wasn't the least bit surprised. And that is the problem. I wasn't surprised at all, because this is Simona, like queen fucking choker, fucker upper, underperformer. I mean, I said to Realz earlier, I said, is she maybe uncoachable? Because she's a good player, but she just, I don't know. She's fucked up.
Well, I think the question of whether she's uncoachable or not is probably, it's an odd timing for the question, because I think what's happened is that she has gone through a cycle of coaching, which is now allowing her to see some sort of results, right? Like that seems to, because it seemed like it's similar to what happened with Muguruza, it seems to me, is that they took on these coaches when they were doing fairly well. Then the coach decides to make some sort of long-term change in their game and their approach to their game, which takes them down this dark path for like a year or so.
Well, this could be,
and now they're emerging on the other side, right?
No.
Well, I'm not sure, because what I've noticed with Simona, I've never thought that I thought that my initial impression when I saw Simona was that she knew how to take care of her tennis.
Sure.
And that she knew how to understand, she understood the game and how to make the adjustments, et cetera, et cetera.
You could say the same thing for Muguruza. Both of them. They both seem
right.
very
And when she fired their coaches, is that I thought it was something else. Because the reason why she changed coaches initially when she was doing well with Wim Fissette, it was not a matter of tennis strategy. She said she wanted someone comfortable who was Romanian, who understood Romanian philosophy, etc., and the culture, that just some things that did from Belgian, which is Frenchish, Dutchish, into Romanian, even though they speak English. But hey, I don't know. And so she wanted someone, and then she fired that guy, and she got Cahill. When Cahill came onto the court today, he wasn't talking about tennis, but he was trying to tell her, stop being a brat on court. That's basically what he said to her. You're being a brat. You need to get your shit together. And as soon as he said that, she was like, fuck you, Darren. I'm going to go down with this ship. And she just basically got her ass bagel. She almost got bagel. Because
given her results lately, this is a good result for her to be in a final, especially,
sure.
2 tournaments in a row, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Because she's putting together wins. But
here's the thing.
Well, not, okay. I guess so.
She's better than this. So I don't know. This isn't, I'm still like, girl, get it together. She should be winning these matches.
But you know what?
Because
at the end of the day,
Svitolina wasn't doing anything that was really crazy, because it was all her errors. It was Simona's errors.
Well,
Svitolina was
Svitolina's no
comfortable enough.
slouch. Let's not.
Yeah. I mean, and
No,
she's
I'm not saying
she's
she's
a
not a
good
slouch.
retriever. She's
I
a
mean,
good
she's
retriever.
a good retriever, but I'm saying it's just like when
and
you're on
she
clay.
occasionally from some of the, I took a look at the match a little bit. I couldn't see the whole thing, but I went back and looked at some of the highlights. It seemed like Svitolina was trying to be much more forceful in the way she played, that she wasn't just content to settle back.
If we know nothing about Svitolina,
Right,
we know that you better not fuck around on her because she will snatch your wig. We know this.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that result, I mean, getting breadstick in the third set, it was unnecessary.
But that's typical Simona, and that's my
kind of
point.
checked
But
out.
that's what I'm saying. It's just that she just basically capitulated that match in the second set. In the middle of the second set, then they were like at 5-4 because
she gave up her fighter girl label for a little bit.
Exactly, because Svitolina saw for the set initially, I think it was, and she got broken. Simona came back.
It was 5-5, wasn't
then
it?
Simona was just like, I'm not interested anymore. Done.
So pathetic.
Not here for anything else. And I mean, like I said, because she couldn't reset herself in the third set. I would have been like, okay.
Again, typical Simona.
Right. And this is my problem. We have just because it's like when the wheels come off, there's just no spares. It's done. Out of commission, you gotta walk. There ain't no second bus behind. There's no tow truck. And that's what I find is very problematic. I mean, like you're in the top 10. Simona, you've been here for a while now.
Yeah, well, guess what? Petra Kvitova is still in the top 20, so
I saw that. Oh, but let's talk about Muguruza. Were you surprised at Muguruza? What happened with Venus? I thought that might have been a little bit a better battle.
Yeah, I was scoreboarding it. I didn't actually see the match, and I was just like, "Gosh, what's going on?" Because Venus has been playing really, really well. So
crazy all court tennis. I was surprised.
But Gabin, right? Gabin, she missed by a country mile. It's just inches, right? It's in by inches, or she's missing by a country mile. And I think, for the first time in a very long time, Gabinia was able to string together 3 wins. Well, this is 4 wins.
Ooh.
And this was the same place where she strung together 3 wins and then roll up in the French and won it, right? String 7 together. So, I mean, like, maybe this is a place where she felt familiar ground and it was good. I mean, Venus has to be...
So was Venus's serve off?
Well, yeah. I mean, that initial set got away from Venus, earlier on. And I guess, fighting to win the second set, because that was a struggle. She won at 6-3. It was just too much one bad game in that third set. Venus needed to be on in that third set. And again, energy level and whatever became similar. But, I was happy for Gabina. Just like, okay, watch out. Gabina is going to defend those points in Paris because if she does not, Gabina would be where in the world is Carmen San Diego.
Well, get ready for it.
She's done. She's lost somewhere because she got nothing. Gabina has nothing.
But you know what's so great about the WTA?
From Paris.
You know what's so great about the WTA? Regardless of what has happened to date, in Roland Garros, it's all on. It really is. Like that's how the WTA works. It's like she could show up and suddenly be like playing out of her mind. You're like, wait, I didn't think you could do this. Do you know what I mean? I think this whole narrative, the funny thing about the narrative around like looking at how people come into a tournament, it just never works for the WTA.
Never.
For good or bad. I think for them, it sounds bad because usually men are the ones that are analyzing the sport. And so they look at the men's game and they're like, ooh, this really bodes well. That means like, I'm going to be looking for Dominic Thiem. I'm going to be doing that. But on the WTA side, nah.
No, it really doesn't work.
For me, the way I look at these things is that, for me, the only reason why I look at these things and put it through this perspective is that to win a major, and I guess, but these women are not necessarily interested in dominating the tour, like as a Serena or perhaps a Venus.
Those are unique.
For a while.
But
those are anomalies.
Reals, we've been telling you that all along. These are unique beings.
Right, but I'm just
you can't extrapolate that stuff.
No, I'm only saying that just so that you win majors consistently or defend majors, you can't play all 7 rounds as a battle. You have to come on court and win the first round by just name alone.
Yeah.
And the problem with the WTA, so much of these women is that it's a battle for all 7 rounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's partly why the drama exists, though. I mean, that's the difference on the WTA side. It's like you really can, for the men's side, a lot of the early rounds are sleepers. You're like, the top guys, they get through them, you know? The ones that are faltering, that's their problem, right? You're like, you shouldn't be faltering in this early round. That's the narrative for the ATP side. But you can't use the same narrative on the WTA side. The WTA side is all a hands on deck. Like that, I mean, especially without a Serena. Without a Serena,
we should be looking.
It's all hands on deck. Like there's legit, because I think I saw an interview with Simona Halep, and they asked her if she was an RG favorite, and she's like, "There's like 15 other women," and she's right.
Yeah, we're all favorites at this point.
At this point,
well, I mean, it's not,
any of the top 15 players could conceivably win this title.
But that's true.
Which
but
means
I think
it'll be like someone ranked in the 80s.
Which would be fantastic.
That's what I was about to say. Watch out for Mona Bartel. Watch out, Mona Bartel. Germany has been doing really well.
That's the thing about it. Is like you kind of have to throw the script away with the WTA. I mean, it's both frustrating because sometimes there's a level of predictability you want. But then at the same time, it's kind of like if your favorites are not there, like, for example, for people who are Serena stans and she's not there, you're just going to look around and go, hey, I'm just going to close my eyes and pick.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's just like, I'm not expecting people to necessarily win a whole bunch of majors like in necessarily the Monica era. But in that era, there were a group of women who you knew were going to make it to the second week, right? They were just going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. I got nothing. I mean, I wouldn't put my head in a box for anything, but I just can't do it.
I mean, you can't even listen. You can't comfortably say that. So you can't comfortably say that Svitolina or Simona could make.
Halep is gonna be in around the 16. Exactly. That's my problem. Is that like I can't pick 16
but
women
honestly, that's
out of
just
that
your
draw.
problem. That's not their problem.
It's true. It's all about the money, right? Whoever feels hot for that week. The WTA just filled with a bunch of Stanleys. 128
Oh, the shade. I know I heard some people laugh at me because
it's the Wawrinka Toe Association, Tennis Association. WTA stands for the Wawrinka Toe Association. And if you're below 18, you better watch out because Stanley is doing real feel and touch tests.
Can you imagine that slogan? Show up, anyone can take the title. I mean, that's the slogan. Hey,
if tennis is going to bed with betting, if tennis is all about betting and sleeping with betting, this is how the WTA need to market themselves because they got nothing right about now. They got nothing.
You know, people that are betting on women's tennis are lost.
Not even Sharapova because one, she ain't got the rankings to be legitimately coming up the tournament, and two, any bitch they're forced to go make a statement about Sharapova just seems to be getting that win over her ass.
No, but it'll be fun. I think it's funny. I think it's actually kind of fun. I mean, like, you have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. That's like
true.
Clueless.
All of a sudden, Kuzi can show up and everyone's just like, what the fuck?
Kuzi, forget about Kuznetsova. Think about Vesnina. Suddenly, Vesnina could be your winner. I mean,
you guys,
Vinci could be up in there like, hey.
Stop it. That's enough. It won't be Vinci.
Maybe Janina's favorite, Franny comes in gets her life together, be like, I'm gonna show y'all. And
I am all here for
Sarah is number 90, so she's definitely in the French Open. So hey, was already.
So that was good. So that's good. But then on the men's side, I think the real surprise happened on the men's side, though.
Listen.
Well, let me just see. Go ahead, Jane.
For the men. I don't give two shits that Rafa lost. I don't think it's significant. People need to chill the fuck out. It was far more important to see how Novak played this week. And we saw some tiny little glimmers of hope, and we saw some major fucking meltdowns. We saw some things on the court and some things off the court that let us know that Novak is a hot fucking mess.
That's the slogan for Paris. Logan is a hot. Like Novak is a hot fucking mess. Come one, come all, and snatch
if you believe what he's been putting out, Novak is a hot fucking mess of a mutant. I'm just saying. It could be any one of those slogans could work.
Let's, before we talk about that, talk about Novak's tennis.
Okay.
He had moments that looked great, but he was never consistent, and that's the issue. That's what we're seeing. That's the only thing that we're seeing consistent with Novak lately is his inconsistency. So I don't think he is anywhere near form to win the French Open. I don't think there's a shot in hell he defends that title. I don't even think he gets to the final. I don't, because he is far too vulnerable right now. He is struggling against people that he should be owning. And he is behaving like the Ole of Nole old on court. That's not a good thing. That's not good.
This is pre-2011 Nole.
Don't you think what's so interesting to me about this is like Nole and like, I mean, and let's talk about the fact that neither of us mentioned Andy Murray, but hopefully we are at some point, because we have to talk about Andy Murray's been sliding through here and having everyone ignore him because all the attention is focused on Novak. But we've got to talk.
And he's number one by far. Okay, he's number one by far.
But what's interesting too is that both of them are sort of reverting to the mean. Like, this is who they have been.
Yeah.
And so. The question you have to ask yourself, because I just realized that, Novak turns 30 tomorrow.
Is he having a midlife tennis crisis?
But let's think about traditionally what 30 has meant in tennis.
Yeah, you're done in tennis. You're done in tennis.
Or it shifts, right? I think one of the other things is that because Novak has been performing at a fairly high and intense level, and the fall off has happened in this kind of emotionally wrought way, it's distracting people from the fact that Novak is aging. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it at all.
People have been like, oh, this is his mentality, his this is this and this. But you're like, wait a minute. That was always the question, is can these players do what they're doing after 30? Novak is just now approaching 30. And it's funny that no one's actually raised that question. I remember when Rafa and Fed were turning 30 and everybody's like, the sky was falling. But here's
the thing, and that's what I was just going to say. Because Rafa and Fed have managed to keep their level so high, that has become the new norm, even though it's not the norm at all. We just expect now, because we have these two players who are 30 plus. Closer to 40 than he is 30 now. Right? He'll be 36 this year.
Federer is older than Nadal and Djokovic around the same age. I think Nadal is 31, just turned 31 this year.
But my point is, when you have Federer, who is this old, who just won a major and is number 2 in the world, you don't think about Novak turning 30. You think that he's supposed to be good.
Except there was something that happened when Federer got to a certain age, was the predictability went away.
Sure.
That's, you know what I mean? Like, and so maybe I think what people have, because it's so interesting, because Novak's life and on the tennis court is so complicated right now that people are not ascribing just simple aging as a potential, you know what I mean? Like, problem. Like, he's just getting older now. People are like, I remember when Fed would have an amazing match and then like be crap the next one.
Yep.
And so people have to maybe think about what they're doing when they say that Novak is back in some ways. Like, the Dami match was what's possible for Novak, but then also this crapshoot that was today is potentially what you're going to be seeing now. It's like a great match and then a crappy match.
Right. I mean, maybe has he lost a step? Are we going to talk about that?
But let's go back to something we said earlier, right? Should we be using the anomaly as the bench? Should we be making the exception the rule? Because the exception here is really Federer, right?
Yeah.
That he's able to stretch his career out and at a high level. And let's be careful. Federer wasn't winning major prior to 2017. The last time he won a major was in 2012.
Yep.
This 5 years. And he has had to retool his game.
But he's never
2013 sucked. He sucked in 2013.
But he never fell out of the top. That's the thing. So, yes, he sucked in terms of Federer greatness. He didn't never really suck, though. And that's what we have to make the distinction of.
We have to make the same case for Novak, because look at it.
Exactly.
Like by getting to this final, to be honest, he then immediately bumped. Remember, he was skirting around in the top teens, and then he jumped all the way back up after having this final run. So, I mean, I think what you're probably going to see is now like a top 10 Novak, not maybe, and a top 5, obviously, because I think once he gets the brain right, he'll probably be back in the top 5 again. But maybe what you're actually seeing is that you're not going to be getting the Novak of predictable getting to Grand Slam finals anymore, which has been the trend for all of the top guys, to be honest.
Right.
But I think maybe, I'm just saying, maybe I think because Federer is older and he's gone through more shifts in the game and playing style than the other players, where, you know, like he's had to react as opposed to them just basically dictating play, like they slow down the court, whatever, that Federer is able to navigate. And he got, like, when he changed coaches or guides, whatever you want to call it, he had very specific things. I mean, and people don't want to talk about this, but Federer talks and understands the games better than anybody else on tour right now. He does. Like, literally talking about the game of tennis. Federer understands it better than anyone else. So I think when he brought people on, there were very specific things that he was willing to work on to change his game, to adjust. These players are not necessarily adjusting. They're just hitting the fucking ball. Just hit it harder and harder and harder. That's all they're trying to do. Amp up and juice up in this way. And any slight variation, and these younger, you know, it's what's having the problem. Plus, the mental factor. I think this is what Nole this week. I'm not even talking about the Instagram thing. That display against Dominic Thiem, that was not about tennis. The next level shit juice. I hope somebody make him piss in a cup somewhere, because that shit should be neon green. He was on some fucking venom and madness. I mean, Dominic Thiem didn't deserve that. And I mean, like,
well, he was trying to make up. Maybe he was trying to prove her point. I mean, think about it. Like, I think, you know, Dominic Thiem just took out the person who's been doing well all season. Now I mean, people are saying things about Dominic's game, and you want to pit yourself up against this guy and be like, all right, let me see what you got. If you could take out Rafa, let's see what you got. Rafa took me out last week. Let me see what you do.
Theoretically, he should have won that match, right?
Yeah, whatever. Dominic, he beat that boy like, if you know what. It's like my mother always say, if you can't beat one neighbor, beat the other one, right? That's how some people's philosophy is, right? Some people's philosophy is like, I can't beat that one over there. You know, I'm gonna beat the one I can beat. He beat Dominic like if Dominic stole his lunch. Like, he thought that he was going to be.
Hey, we don't know.
You know what? Maybe he did. I think that was.
But
you know, for Dominic, that was a good beating to take. You know, because there's nothing like beating Rafa and then going out there and possibly having a little bit of a swollen head about what you think is possible. For Novak to say, "Hey, I'm gonna rein you in," and it's good because you know what? Again, Dominic Thiem also needed his ass beat so he could take a rest. If he wants to do something in Paris, you know, he should not. I can imagine him and Sasha grinding out this damn final. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was, you know, I think let's cast our eyes back to 2009 when Rafa Nadal gave Robin Soderling the beating of his life.
In Rome.
Mm-hmm. And then Robin Soderling came back and was like, let me see what I can do. So it's like, you just never really know what these beatings mean. You know what I mean? Does it mean that if Dominic...
you know what? They don't mean anything.
To me, Dominic was just like, look, after they played that first couple of...
Does he learn that lesson about how to play Novak better? Because
probably not, because it's Dominic Thiem.
But you never know, right?
I don't trust this guy.
What? You don't trust Thiem? Everyone is putting all their stock in the Thiem. You know, I don't.
That's because he beat Rafa. It has nothing to do with him. They're putting stock in him because he beat Rafa. They're not putting stock in his game.
I think this
wait a minute. He has played Rafa 3 times in the last 3 fucking weeks. Of course he's gonna get a win. Eventually it's gonna happen.
No, that's not always happening. He's beaten Dominic. He's beaten Rafa before.
But I'm just saying it was due. It was time, because it wasn't like Rafa was kicking his ass all over the place.
Well,
but also I think strategically it was a great loss for Rafa as well.
Wait, yes, because Rafa.
And I hate that. I hate it. I do, but I have to accept at some point that I guess this is what people do. I hate to think that he's like, you know what? I might need to rest a little bit before Paris. It's okay to let this one go. I hate that. I want to think that every time everybody takes the court, they are out there to do their absolute best and to win.
Well, generally Rafa is, but I mean, let's all admit he is older. I mean, like, all of these players can't go. I mean, that's the thing. Like, when are we going to admit that some of these players...
Do you show up at work every single day, 100% to work every single day to give them your 100%? No, you do not. There's 2% Fridays for a reason.
I'm not saying it was intentional.
I'm talking about my own love of
your own illusion about it.
But I'm just saying, I think for me, Rafa just realized it might not be that serious or necessary, right? There's no reason to go.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I don't like it.
Oh,
I've never liked it. I never liked it.
100% all the time.
All the time. That's what I want.
I think that's strategic losses because
you
know what?
Probably are too, and I fucking hate it.
In any war, you can't win all of the battles.
You really
learn this from Game of Thrones. All the battles are not important.
Did you just say you learned in Game of Thrones? Did you just really come at me with that shit?
But honestly, as an old Federer fan, I will say that Federer could have learned that lesson a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Federer showed up day in and day out to get his ass handed to him by Rafa.
Especially on the Clicquot season prior.
There were times when he should have taken a strategic loss prior to getting to Rafa, to rest up, to do whatever he fucking needed to do, to not meet Rafa all the time on his favorite surface and get his ass handed to him. But he did. Mm-hmm. So the thing that was hilarious to me is when people were commenting on whether, oh no, Federer's afraid. I was like, dude, Federer encountered Rafa at the height of his powers, like week in and week out.
Before we even get there, because I think that we probably all have a lot to say about that. Let's talk about this final today, because
wait. Before we go into that, let me just say this. I just want to say this thing. I am so glad that the young boys learned something that the middle-aged men who in the 20s didn't realize. You have to come at this shit strategically. Okay? You have to take out some of the big boys and then let someone else go ahead. That's how the Kenyans win the marathons and the Ethiopian. Team fucking work. Y'all can't be going at all them hard. You got to take out one at a time. So Dominic took out Rafa, and then Zverev took out Nole. Okay? You can't take out all the big boys.
Do you think they had a meeting about it?
It's not a meeting, but it actually worked out for their benefit, because usually in the past, that's why when I said Fidel cock blocked better, is that 9 times out of 10 you had to beat them back to back.
Right.
Exactly.
And that was just always hard to do.
Del Potro, and he broke his fucking wrist doing that. Exactly. Shit. You can't do that. You can't do that.
That's why Delpo don't have a Masters final. Delpo, people don't recognize it. You had to go through a wall. A wall to get to those damn.
You had to beat 3 of them. You had to beat 1 in the quarters, 1 in the semi, and then have enough strength to beat that.
Girl, please, it's a weak era. Remember?
I know, right? That's what people say. But now,
this is why
Zverev had to take out Isner. Okay, I mean, it was hard, but it was Isner on clay. Who wouldn't have signed up? Let me tell you something. Let's go back in the past, and if somebody signed you up and say, "Hey, for your first Masters tournament, Delpo, I want you to be Isner and then Nole," he's like, "I'll take that."
Right. Right. Well, I want to talk about little Sasha Zverev today, because I don't know what Andrine's thoughts were, but I think Realz thought I was crazy when I said I'm ready for this.
Sure.
No,
sure.
You know,
go ahead, Tara.
I feel like Nick Kyrgios and Sasha Zverev are the only 2 young guns who feel like they belong and they can beat these guys. And that is why Sasha was able to go out there today and he kicked Novak's ass. Novak was trying. He had some moments where he didn't play very well, but you know what? The majority of them long rallies, Sasha Novak to Novak.
I know. I was shocked by that. I was like, honey, why are you getting this long rally? And then he was like,
not choke. He broke him. He held after he broke. There wasn't this back and forth of the lead. He served that first set out like he had been there a million fucking times. That is mental toughness. And that is why he was able to stand his ground and take that title. Novak could have played better. No doubt about it. But Sasha played great, aggressive tennis. And he believed in himself. You could tell from the very beginning that when he went out there, he thought, I can win this and I belong. And that makes all the difference in the world. I never feel that way when I watch team play a top player. Never. You see Kyrgios take the court against one of these big dogs and he's like, bitch, I'm next.
Well, this is why I'm for the ballers. We talk about this. This is why I'm not on the team train. I think team works real hard. I think he's real enthusiastic. I think he's a nice cheerleader. He's got a nice ass, nice backhand.
But there has to be, you have to come out there with some.
But he goes too extra. Like, I mean, listen, I think he's a staple. I think team is a staple top.
He's going to be David Ferrer.
Yeah, like I think he could.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God! I had the same exact thought, and I thought it was
like he's solid. Like he's solid. You know,
he's never an insult to be a David Ferrer. He's amazing. He's had a fantastic career, but there's people out there that believe in themselves more,
and they'll come. Well, not only do they believe in themselves more, they believe in themselves more. Plus, they have the weapons. Because the thing that's great about Team, he has that fantastic backhand, but sometimes I feel like Team doesn't generate it in the way that gives him a kill shot. Yeah. Like he'll have great rallies, but Nick ain't sitting around for 20, 50 rallies. Come on.
Nope. Exactly.
You know,
Dominic Kyrgios,
you know what I mean?
Kyrgios both backhand comes out as a defensive shot.
Yes.
He thinks defensively and not offensively.
Zverev and Kyrgios both have a very good all-around solid game. Neither one of them, I don't feel like players come out going, I have to attack this part of their game because it's really weak.
Maybe
they are evolving. Yeah, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not
the other issue that I think that Zverev and Kyrgios have that Dominic doesn't have. They have great serve. They have a great serve because Nole was getting his ass taken as
well.
Right, exactly. It's effective and it's like they can produce unreturnable. And you need to win those cheap points. You need to win those fucking cheap points. But I have to say that for me, I know Janina and I talked about, she said, I thought Zverev was going to win. She said, I hope Zverev win. I hope I'll be laughing so hard. But, I was like, there is no fucking way. No, they show his ass like that yesterday. I'm going to come out today.
But this is a whole totally different caliber of player.
Yep.
But no, I mean, like he came out there. I mean, I'm not even talking about flat. It was just like, motherfucker, you were just like that man at the club, right? Who's all hot, and then you show up in the bedroom and you can't can't get your dick up. I mean,
but I don't think that was about Novak. I think that was much more about Sasha.
I'm not taking away anything. I'm not taking away anything from Sasha. I'm just simply saying that what I saw, like I expected,
failed to show up.
Yeah, Novak didn't. Nole on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Is a motherfucking mountain.
Beast.
He is a fucking mountain on a Sunday.
You know what's so funny? You know what convinced me of that is, I mean, this is what's so interesting about the evolution of Novak, right? Because, I mean, theoretically interesting, but is that when Novak, you almost have break points on Novak, right? And then you're gonna
get that shit,
right? And you're gonna serve.
And Federer.
And you go down love 30 in your service game.
Comes roaring back,
and you're like, oh shit! I was like, but at no point in time in this match did I feel with complete certainty that Novak was that Novak. Do you know what I mean? He was not that guy who was going to be able to be like, I'm going to reel you back in. He just does not have that confidence and that ability anymore to almost, I mean, let's be honest, to do that thing that he
had no
could do, where he could control you. He really couldn't. It was like he was working hard. Like he was working overtime.
He had no easy service game. None at all. He almost got red stick in the second set.
Sasha was cracking the fuck out of that ball, and he didn't know what to do with it.
Well, that was the thing that was hilarious. How many times did Novak react surprisingly to a good Sasha backhand? I was like, dude.
Yeah, he had this look on his face like,
did you not study a tape?
Why would he study a tape? He's working on osmosis here. But I mean, you know what I mean? I was just like, I was like,
oh my god, stop it, I'm choking.
I mean, Novak's groans in the final.
Is he too arrogant?
Huh?
Is Novak too arrogant?
Well,
Did he just think
no.
I'm going to be able to go out there and handle this young buck?
Right?
I don't even know if it's that. I think I will say this, and this is going to sound real harsh, but I think Novak goes out on that court unprepared. And I hate to say that, but there's an element of like surprise from Novak's reaction in these shots. And I'm like, wait, do you not know how this guy plays? Do you know
That's
where
what
he's
saying?
I'm like, what's going on here?
It's true because I would say that's
does
true.
he think he's that much better than everyone that he doesn't need to be prepared? And then boom, especially lately, you're getting a surprise.
Peace and love, boo. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, maybe. I mean, that's a fair point, and I could see that because what I noticed today was just like he kept sitting down. The way he was behaving was that he expected him to choke.
Mm-hmm.
He was waiting on Zverev to choke. Nole, this motherfucker broke you early in the first set and held. You didn't have a single break point. Did you have a break point against Zverev? I don't think so.
No, he did not. Not in
Zverev
that for sure.
I just think, this is. He didn't. There was no. Nole showed an inability to shift gears.
I think
which
he
is very
discredited
weird.
his opponent.
Particularly with the same thing against the Rafa match last week. Getting his ass kicked. He noticed that Rafa was, trending on the core, I guess we could say. And he couldn't do anything. He was just like, you know what? I just gotta take this beat down. And I don't know. I don't see him in the French finals again next week. Couple weeks. No, I don't.
Who, Novak? I don't know. I mean,
Novak.
you know what? Listen, I mean, again, unlike just similar to what I say with the WTA ladies, I think with the top 4 or top 3 guys, I never really know what they can do. Somehow or another, they do seem to show up prepared to get themselves to a second. So whether within the next week of Novak talking to Andre, maybe Andre clarifying to him that, dude, your game is really there. It's your mentality that's fucked up. What have you? I don't know.
Who the fuck is Andre Agassi to tell somebody about their mentality? That's what I don't understand. Motherfucker's crazy himself.
Well, crazy talks to crazy.
I'm telling you, hey.
So, I mean,
maybe. Djokovic probably think that Agassi's wig is probably cerebral, and he could put that wig on his head, and he probably observed some kind of like.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to derail us from any other match. So you've got the Rafa match. That doesn't feel like it was a surprise in any real way. I think it's good for Dominic Thiem, but a sort of a draw for Rafa. He knows he can beat Dominic Thiem. I don't think that was a good
I think Dominic needed to know that he can beat Rafa.
Yeah, that was helpful.
The important thing,
right?
There.
Yeah,
that's what's going to propel him to do well at the French. I think. I don't think that meant shit for Rafa.
What do you think about? What do you guys think about Delpo? I mean, I don't really think. I think Delpo on clay is kind of a non-starter. So I really don't think that Novak beating Delpo was a big deal.
I didn't either. I was surprised. I was kind of.
What about Delpo beating?
He did.
Yeah, how about Delpo beating Grigor so well? I mean, but that's just Delpo.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah,
right. That was a surprise. I don't know.
I think Delpo's always good for an upset. I just think that whoever gets Delpo, watch out. And if it's early, I mean, I don't imagine that Delpo makes it to week 2. I just don't know. I feel like with his backhand, I just don't see that.
Well, he can make it to week 2, but he's not going to win.
No, I don't see that. But the big thing with Delpo is not about it's not about him winning. It's about him destroying somebody's chances. At Wimbledon, it was him destroying Stan's chances. So it's like,
I mean, you keep saying that, but Delpo grew up on the clay, right?
For me, Delpo is about who's he going to spoil.
Yep, he's the spoiler. That's going to be his role at the French. No, I totally agree. I don't think he has a shot in hell to win, which means he'll probably win it all because I just put that out there. But I just think he's going to be the role of the villain.
I mean, which you all know that Dupple will be in Federer's part of the draw at Wimbledon. I just need you to
Of course
know that.
So
But,
so congratulations to Sasha Zverev to becoming one of the very few men who have managed to win a Masters 1000 title in the last 11 billion years.
So they're rarer than slam titles. So hold on to that. Listen, Zverev has a fucking deal. Zverev has a Masters over Raonic?
Delpo.
In Rome over Federer. Federer don't have a Rome Master. Yeah. He does not. No, he does not.
Raonic, all of the best, all of the next gen stars from the previous generation, none of those mofos have a Masters title. And he jumped out there and grabbed one for himself.
And he didn't beat some scrub. He beat Noli. He beat Noli.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
That is hard to do. Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
You are on the power ranking this week. Can you say black power ranking if it's black people doing the ranking? Does that work?
It's only black power ranking. He's not that this week. He's on the black power ranking. I don't know. And
Zverev, you play your cards right, boo boo. You will be moving up a spot and being on my top.
And you know what?
Because you know what? You getting some money.
Let's backtrack. Let's backtrack just a little tiny bit for a second to the women. Mm-hmm. Angelique Kerber, get your fucking life together.
Really?
That's it.
I'm not even interested. I'm not even interested in her. Really?
She is the world number one. This is sad. Her and Murray need to go on vacation together.
Okay, well let's go right into this. Murray, what's going on with Murray?
He doesn't know, and neither do we.
But somebody was. You know what? Let me ask you guys this though. I don't know. Like, are there long-term impact of shingles?
No.
Okay.
Shingles.
I'm just wanting to know. You know what?
Shingles isn't that big of a deal.
If it deals with exhaustion, it could be.
No. It hurts. It comes. It hurts. You get these red things on your body. You take some medicine. They go away. I don't want to hear about shingles and Murray. It's not that big of a deal. Nope. Not going there.
Okay.
Murray might have some kind of weird thing. Listen, when someone says to the world number one, how'd you lose to this guy? And they go, I have no idea. We got a problem. So
I think I think it's a typical question though. Does Murray need Yvonne with him all the time now?
Thank you very much. You took the thing. You see, my problem with Murray has always been this motherfucker is a big baby. Old baby. He needs a nappy and a bottle and someone to rub his belly and pat his head and tuck him into bed at night.
Well, that's Andy Murray for you.
No, because you see, all of that Murray mumbling and going out on court and it's just like, come on now. It's just like, it's too much. And you see, this is why because he got rid of everybody, with that hot, sexy Danny and put on Amelie because he said he wanted to cut down the number of noise in the background, right? Amelie was going to be one straight voice, she'll get his life together. She, if nothing else, she got his click-out game together.
She did. She was
a click-out specialist.
Nice fact that she's the one that
she got his click-out game together.
Yeah. Maybe he needs to call her.
Well, you know what it is? I do think that
she got two babies already. She's not gonna pick up a third one. She's not.
But you know what? I think whatever skill and talent she had during that period, she really did. But she really communicated to him patience, tactics,
and to calm the fuck down.
He needs to remember his time with her and get back there because he looks silly right now.
But you know what? He acts like it. But that was the thing. Whenever she couldn't be there and whatever, he started both putting in back the same old noisy group, the bros and the hanging around. And then all of a sudden, where Amelie was in the box by herself, he didn't think he could go shout and say shit to her. She was just like, no, I'm not here for this fucking shit. I gotta go sit somewhere else. I'm not even coming on court. And then when Ivan Lendl comes into the room, shuts up.
Because he looks scary as fuck.
Ivan Lendl ain't trying to hear nothing.
I just think that there's probably
like an
Murray thinks discipline that Ivan brings in that's mental discipline as well as physical.
Exactly.
If Murray knows that he needs a babysitter and he needs a hand holder, then he needs to find one.
Well, you know what though? What I think has been really amazing though is how much of a non-starter Murray has been as a number one.
It's
and
pathetic.
how much protection. I just want to make the case, and I've said it again before, and I'll say it again. Murray has had so much protection from being a completely non-starter as a number one player that I have to assume that it's because he's British and a white male. But not even, because I think if Federer had performed this poorly, he would have been getting slammed as a number one. So I have to assume that it's because there's so much British press for Murray, because Murray has been so poor. But then also, you know what, to be honest, Nole has like helped by being just as poor. So
yeah. Well, you know what? I think the protection of Murray isn't even a true protection. I think it's low expectations. I don't know that anybody ever expected him to be a dominant number one. He is there.
Even number one. Just saying.
I mean,
exactly. Did you ever expect Andy Murray to be your number one player in the world in the same company of Novak, Roger, Rafa? Be real. Did you ever see that coming?
No, I was surprised when he ended up number one. I was like, I didn't think this was going to happen so quickly. I mean, I thought he would sort of like naturally ascend to number one just by the nature of the beast. But I was surprised, just the nature of the beast in the ranking, you know what I mean? Being there, whatever. But I was quite surprised. I mean, let's all look at it. If we're not careful, if people are not careful, we might have Rafa return to number one. I mean, that's going to be hilarious as shit, because he's actually the one that's on the way up.
If we're not careful, Rafa and Roger is going to return to number one and two.
Well, I have a preference of how I want that to go, but I'm just, you know.
After last week, I don't think we're confused on that issue
but
anymore.
I think, you know what, and don't think the PR machine that is the ATP Tour is not happy about that idea either. So
they would love that. I mean, shit.
But let me just point out something here. Let us just wonder about something. Maybe when it comes to Murray, it's how you slay the beast, right? It's how you get that prize. Maybe it's also part of the issues going on with the number two, right? Is that you got the prize that you wanted and it isn't that expected you want, because everyone else who has ascended to number one in the past years, they've had to fight and struggle. I mean, everyone was going on when Rafa got to number two. When number one, just like how long he's been the longest person to ever been the bridesmaid at number two, and then he finally got number one, and then he went on a tear. And Djokovic
was a great bridesmaid. I don't know why people thought he should be a bride. It's a great bridesmaid.
I'm just simply saying, but when it comes to Murray, Murray just had to basically just like glide up the aisle and be number one, because Nole was.
Oh no, you can't say that. Murray really fought to be number one.
Wait, but let's say, what was there? I mean, like we were Rafa and Federer went out last year. They took off the year and just like, you know, not interested. But then when we expected this real battle for number one and two last year,
like, I'm done.
No, it was just like, not interested. Nope, not here for that. What's this about? Beating Murray.
Are you telling me that
for my number one title?
Struggle? Are you telling me Andy Murray needs to struggle to actually?
I don't think that he needs to struggle.
No, I'm just telling you that number.
I think. Listen, if Andy Murray all of a sudden becomes this extremely dominant number one player, good for him. He's supposed to be, right? Because he's number one. That's what the narrative will be. But we're not seeing that. I don't know that we'll ever see that, because when has he ever been completely dominant? Never. And I don't think there's an expectation for him, just like there's not this huge expectation for Kerber to be dominant. There's
you know what it is? It's not that I expected Andy to be dominant. I didn't expect him to come out and win like slams and masters. I didn't really. I just expect him to be decent. Like I didn't expect him to seem
why.
Lost. I didn't expect him to seem lost, because for the last 2 years he has not been lost. He's actually been building. He's been building up to a place where I felt like he was becoming more consistent on in slams, and he had kind of moved away from dominating in the Masters, because that was something that he was, in some weird way, he was sort of like fairly dominant in Masters and kind of weak in slams, and then he kind of reversed that trend. But he was a consistent player in the sense that he won the matches that he should, and sometimes he would lose the ones that you thought he would win, but you know, he was doing what he needed to do. But he's been just a head scratcher for the last 6 months.
And when you beat him, and when you beat Andy Murray, you played well.
Yeah, generally.
But you know what?
I was a little bit surprised, because you know what?
He's
He's just as surprised as we are. So he expected a little bit more.
I'll tell you what. Ages ago, I'm going to show how much of a homosexual of this podcast I am. Ages ago, like in the 1950s or something like that, Maria Callas, a famous opera singer, you may have known that she used to go out with Onassis before Jackie Kay stole him away from her.
Mm-hmm.
They asked Maria Callas about her quote-unquote rival, Renata Tebaldi from Italy. And she said, I'm sorry. We're talking about cognac and Coca-Cola, okay? I'm cognac and this bitch is Coca-Cola. You can't compare the two. So I say this to say that Murray is basically a chaser. He's not fine, vintage, high-class liquor. No, Murray only does well as a chaser. But when he's being featured as the sole thing, he can't get it. Can't get good. No, can't. I mean, because let's be 100 here. Let's be 100 here. And the same thing goes for Angie. The same thing goes for Angie. Angie's sun kiss. She's bright, she's bubbly, but we were featuring Angie more when she was a vulture than when she was a number one player. We got nothing to say about Angie. Nothing. Yeah. She got the Vulture Award, I think, like twice.
She was great.
She was showing up. She got her weight snatch and everything. No, Angie coming on cold and Svitolina's just like, bitch, what you got? Okay, for me.
And for Kerber, I feel like it's a matter of her not being able to perform under pressure. I don't feel like that's the case with Murray.
No, I just feel like the head scratcher.
But I don't even think it's performed pressure for Angie, because you know when pressure would have got to Angie, pressure isn't pressure because Angie has another slam final.
Yeah,
that's not pressure. Okay. Angie just like whatever juice she was on or whatever mental mantra she was telling herself last year. Look, I'm not alluding to doping. I'm not. Look, I'm going to believe the WTA when they tell me that people have been pissing clean. Okay? I'm just going to be saying that. I'm going to believe them. I'm going to believe the ATP that everyone is pissing clean. Okay? I'm going to take my Federer-like suspicions and put them aside and just say, we're keeping all the samples for years, and we're gonna see what happens later on. Okay, we're gonna see.
All right,
all right. We spent too much time on Rome, but
way too much.
Yes, great Rome. You know what? I thought Rome was gonna be a snooze fest, and the two winners surprised us all. So you know what? I mean,
I'm telling you.
Maybe the entire tournament wasn't much to write home about, but the finalists and all of that jazz was something noteworthy.
Hey,
and as always with tennis these days, it's not what happening on the court that's the real drama. It's what happening off the court.
Fun.
That's the real drama.
Oh boy.
So
what's first?
We got some new. Well, we talk about the Andre Agassi and the Nole partnership.
I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's stupid.
Yeah, neither do I. I've never been a fan of Andre.
You know what?
I love Andre.
Oh, good. So there's somebody on the podcast that loves Andre. That's good.
Yeah, thank you. Can't be seen as a biased podcast now, can we?
Listen, I love Andre. You know what I love about Andre? The things he's been doing with education. You know what I don't love about Andre? The things he's known for, which is tennis. He was not my fave.
And when he started talking.
No, he was just an egomaniac. So the idea of Andre and Novak together in one room, I just don't know how that's going to work.
I think it's going to be messy as fuck.
Love it.
I can see them two like getting into a.
Oh, and you know what? This is going to be even worse than all of that shit. Is Brad Gilbert is gonna be talking the fuck up?
That was one thing I disliked about this announcement, even more than the Andre presence, is the fact that this gives us an opportunity to hear more from Brad Gilbert. Jesus.
And it's gods.
But you know what? Also extremely clever from Novak, because who do Americans love more than tennis itself? Andre Agassi. Mm-hmm. So the opportunity to give so much positive press and the constant chit chat that's going to come at Novak, you are about to get the attention you've always wanted, Nole. That's all I'm saying.
God, he's such an attention whore, isn't he?
Unfortunately, Andre Agassi always rubbed people as a dick.
Well, yes. I mean, for people who were paying attention.
Hey, you know what? Maybe it's a perfect pair.
But but I think it's
clearly not, because I mean, who could be a bigger dick than Boris? Who could be a bigger dick than Boris? And that didn't work.
Andre Agassi was a special dick. He was like a special insecure dick, and so I think that I think the blend of his insecurity with Novak's insecurity, dear Lord, that is going to be a wonderful, wonderful marriage.
I just had a thought. This is what's really going to happen. It's going to be Andre as the coach, but Steffi's going to be in the background.
Listen, whatever needs to happen. She's the one that got a curve of those titles, right? Those secret meetings.
Right.
So whatever you need to do.
That's what this is really about. I just think it's going to be.
Like a ninja, you know.
I think it's going to be great. I think, you know what, though? I think it's good. I think it's good, positive. It's a good, positive choice for him. I think Agassi has a lot of positive press. People admire him and they like him. He's one of the people that drew people into tennis. So even if you don't know who Novak is, the idea that Andre is going to be courtside again is going to be very interesting for some people. And they might even return just to see him and then stumble on Novak. And that can't be a bad thing. So,
look,
you know, good on them for
too many supers in one room. A super guru, a super saiyan, Novak, and a super coach. Just too many supers, okay?
I just don't see. Listen, I don't see Agassi coaching anybody. His entire career, he has told us that through his entire career, he didn't have this love of tennis. He always needed that constant reassurance from somebody that he was good enough to be there. Who the hell is he to come in and save the day?
The person who understands that. But
I feel like it's going to be one big, huge pity party, and God forbid if they end up doing meth together.
But but to be honest, though, the truth of it is that, you know what? Who knows what you go through better than somebody in that position? Like, I mean, I think Andre. I mean, I don't know how helpful it's going to be, but you know what? One thing that it's clear that Novak is seeking is purpose in his tennis. And towards the second half of his career, Andre figured out, he never fell in love with tennis, I guess, but he figured out how to use it to the end that he wanted, which was to help people or do whatever the hell he said he wanted to do. If you were to believe his book.
In love with, is it
well,
2.0
I'm not sending my
Agassi?
kid to Novak's school.
Well, honey, nobody is. But I think it's going to be good drama. And, you know, the one thing the
I think that's all it's going to be, and that's the problem.
Drama.
It's going to be good TV, too. And, you know, tennis needs some eyeballs right about now.
Well, you know what? Let's move on. We have other things to talk about. Let's talk about Federer just saying, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm not playing clay at all. Now, first of all, let me say, yes, I was the one on the podcast who said I thought Federer was going to play Roland Garros. The reason that I said that, and I did say this last week before he made the announcement that he wasn't going to play, for some reason, I thought he said he was playing somewhere, but apparently I'm the only one that heard it because it never happened.
No. So, I think he had a conversation with Mario Corello, and I didn't hear the whole thing. And you know how Mary liked to do some slicing and dicing. So maybe the context of that conversation was that Federer would see if
Federer never said he was going to play Roland Garros. He said the option was, but I mean, it might have been reported weirdly. You know, because people were hopeful.
Yeah,
listen, people wanted that Federer because there's nothing that gets people hot than to see Rafa ground Federer into the dirt, and people were looking for that.
Well, I think
that was going to be helpful.
I think it was obvious that he wasn't going to play when he didn't enter Rome.
Yeah,
I mean that was because. Come on, you're not going to play. If you're going to play Roland Garros, you're going to play one tune-up somewhere. You are. So that was the big, not going to do it. And we also have to remember that, hey, listen, Federer told Rafa basically during one of his trophy acceptance speeches, clay is yours for the taking.
He said that. On clay.
He said, I'm sure you'll be there to kill him on clay. So, I mean, that was the first big hint.
And the second big hint was when Federer said his knee was weird on clay. Now, the thing that you have to note is that Federer
last year when he tried to come back and play.
He practiced on clay before he made the announcement. He practiced on clay the day before, which made people think that he was actually going to do it because they saw him play on clay. But he probably practiced on clay, was like, not worth the risk.
Yeah.
Bye. And I think it's fine. You know, I mean, I think the best people are like, who does this benefit? I was like, Federer. I mean, like everybody else is doing what they're going to do.
Wimbledon because he's going to be rested. I mean, hello, do you not remember what just happened at the Australian Open when a rested Federer came in? However,
I think he maximized his chances. I mean, I know everybody's thinking about Wimbledon, but the weird thing is I actually have a better feeling about Federer at US Open than Wimbledon, which, you know, knock on whatever. But, grass is a dodgy surface. It's one of those places where, you know, somebody gets hot and next thing you know, you're out in the second round. It's not that kind of surface where you want to put all your eggs into it, I would say.
Well, this is what I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Federer skipping clay, whoop-de-fucking-do.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I have with this, I expect crazy talk from fans, people like us.
Sure.
I do not expect crazy talk from so-called journalists and news people covering the sport. I think it was messy and irresponsible to open up Twitter and see people who are writing about the sport for a job to say that if Rafa wasn't in such good form, Federer would have chosen to play. Roger Federer is a grown-ass man, and so is Rafa. And ain't neither one of them basing their schedules on the other person's current form. It's not happening. It's silly.
Didn't it get a lot of retweets? And didn't it start a conversation that was a non-starter? And isn't that really the point of saying something like that, though?
I mean, I guess, but I think it's sad that people really believe it.
Well, I mean,
I
think
journalists don't want to do it. I mean,
well, I think the weirdest thing about
the journalists in tennis don't.
Well, I think the weirdest thing about that is just
go ahead, Adrian.
It's just weird because Federer showed up for Rafa at the height of his powers. So the notion that Federer is going to opt out from this point on, going, "Oh my God, I'm so scared of Rafa," dude. I don't really see how that even computes in anybody's mind. He's really scared of Rafa this time. Guess what? Rafa's beaten him a ton of time at Roland Garros, and he showed up every single time.
Right?
Every single time, exactly.
So, I mean, the reality is,
it's so silly.
I mean, if we want to talk about head-to-heads and we want to talk about surfaces, I mean, the reality is who has shown up to take those beatings on various surfaces and who has opted out. So who's been fearful of the other on their favorite surface?
Either one of them are fearful.
Anyone does that. Nobody does that. These people are old now. They have to be careful about their schedule. They really do. The notion that Federer was going to show up because Federer
is going to be 36 in August. He's going to be 36 in August.
That was weird. I saw it and I was like, okay, well, that's going to get you some retweets and that's going to get you some positive love from certain fan bases. But it was just kind of weird because I was like, really? You think that's how people are making their decisions?
Right? No.
You think it's not because Federer was like, I got to take Morka to this Pippa wedding.
Yeah, I mean,
that probably had more to do with it than the
royal wedding.
Exactly. Do I want to prep for Rome or for Paris, or do I want to go to a fashion where I get more tweets, more pictures taken, more talk than actual tennis?
No, I mean, you know what I mean. I think I would have liked that as a rationale than anything else, because I happen to believe that when Federer chooses not to show up to tournaments, it's probably more to do with his body and his family than with his opponent.
And also, Federer always have interesting things to do when he's not showing up for tennis tournaments.
I think it's the case with anybody. Novak isn't skipping a tournament because somebody else is playing well. Rafa's not skipping a tournament because somebody else is playing well. This is their livelihood.
People skip tournaments if they people skip tournaments if they don't believe that they can perform well and it's going to be useful for them in the long term, regardless of whatever rationale you want to give to it. Is it because that their opponents doing better? I don't even know how that works, but I think everyone evaluates a tournament and what's the cost for me? Is it going to cost me more? I think Federer was like, my knee's performing wonky on clay. I show up for Roland Garros. What does this do for my entire grass court season, which is short? These are calculated choices. Any smart reporter who even have access could possibly have called Federer's camp and gotten a quote.
You know, them bitches ain't got access to Federer.
I mean, listen, we all know tennis reporters don't have real access because none of them can actually report an item from nobody. I mean, I've never heard anyone say, well, this person called me and reported it to me. It usually drops and then tennis media has to go and confirm it. Usually the media is the one that confirms. In other places, the media is the one that tells you news of the day.
I don't believe anybody in the media, tennis media. There are probably some people who could get Federer on the phone. I don't think any of these bitches can.
Well, I mean, I just think
they might have Federer's number, but I'm sure that motherfucker got you blocked. I'm sure.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Anyway. It's interesting how news drops in tennis. News drops in tennis in a weird way. The camp drops the news, and then tennis media has to run to catch up. You would think it would work the other way.
No, let's just retweet that a little bit. The camp drops the news and tell you how they want to spin. And then tennis media generally reacts.
Yeah.
That's how it
They're
is.
reacting just
There
like
are no
that.
critical voices. And in
It's great.
fact, I read somewhere in a tennis magazine also that tennis got no journalists. So I'm just saying, if you people are saying that y'all ain't got no journalists, don't y'all motherfucker try to at me and try to block me and say shit shit about
it's a really
me.
strange claim from a
When
magazine
I'm
filled
saying
with tennis journalists. How do you make the claim that you're a magazine that tennis doesn't have journalists when most of the people writing for the magazine are tennis journalists? That's sort of weird.
Look, I'm just simply saying, if somebody tell me that, like Maya Angelou said, if somebody tell you who they really are, believe them. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that was interesting. That was an interesting non-starter. But so then the other news of the day, because Roland Garros is coming up, is Sharapova's news, right?
Yep. And then tennis gotta show its ass one more time. It's like if tennis doesn't it's almost like if tennis doesn't have a rest period. So the French authorities decided, and if you want to talk about not performing, I'm just gonna say that Maria Sharapova's retirement from a match against Lucic Speroni was very strategic. I think someone in her camp gave it a nod, be like, no French for you, and she was just like, fuck it, I'm done. What the fuck am I doing in Rome? There's no point.
I mean, actually, that's true, right? What was the point of if you're not going to get a wild card, why would you continue to play on a surface that's going to lead to more injuries? It's probably
exactly. There's no point here. So, and she don't got that magic meldonium anymore to move around as she like on clay anymore. That's hard work.
Well, I mean, what I thought was really interesting, which I thought it's such a strange way to cover that, right? Because first of all, that was the news, and the French made it all news because they did it like streaming, and everybody was upset about that. But I'm like, dude, you guys are streaming everything with Sharapova. Why wouldn't they get their extra juice?
And not only that, too, why weren't y'all complaining from the very jump? When we were complaining and putting out, like, why are they making this no song and dance? Y'all were happy about it.
I know. So suddenly it was like, you guys need to pull back. It was weird. But I was like, listen,
because
we've been told that this is all a marketing coup for people. So why wouldn't the French Federation make it the biggest marketing coup ever by making the announcement news? So I thought that was really a puzzle. But I thought it was really interesting to see journalists respond by calling out the French Federation for who they gave wild cards to. Because I thought the whole point of this whole discussion was that people were free to give wild cards to whomever they want.
Exactly.
Oh, that's only the discussion when someone gets it that they want.
It was weird.
Come on.
Well, I mean, because I guess did the French give it to a player who was subsequently found to be engaging in gambling?
Yeah.
Or previously, I think, and he was banned for some time.
Oh, but I thought people weren't allowed to be punished when they came back from things like that. And I thought we didn't have a problem with gambling because we are on betting sites and we do all kinds of things. So I thought gambling was different than doping.
And y'all are getting a sizable chunk of money from betting, but not from dopers. I'm just saying,
I was
pharmaceutical companies are not funding tennis tournaments.
Maybe they should. Maybe they should. Then we'd have a different relationship with them. But I mean, listen. I mean, I don't really care. Listen, I think our podcast. I'm going to just establish this from the get. I think our podcast has been very critical of the Sharapova wildcard thing, which means that people believe that we believe Sharapova should be continually punished and taken to the stake and burned. I mean, this is the only way people in tennis understand when you disagree with a point of view, is that, oh my God, you guys are punishing her. No. I think we've made the case from the beginning that people are obviously free to give wild cards to whomever they want to give them to, but we were asking the larger question of what does it mean to give out a wild card to somebody who's returning from a doping ban? And we were asking tennis to consider that. They were always free to do whatever the hell they want to do. And the second thing is, I thought it was a bad narrative scope for Sharapova to take, because I think that the wild card storyline has dominated her return to the point where really you don't even get to focus on her game anymore. You don't really get to focus on any improvement or lack thereof. It's all been about the wild card. And I think realistically, if she had gone through qualies, she would have gotten more positive press, more of the kind of return to the sport that I think she would have herself wanted. Instead, what she's gotten as basically a conversation about wild cards, right? Like nobody's talking about her game. Nobody's talking about whether she is happy to be back, because you can't focus on that because you're really dealing with the systemic issue of what does it mean for tournaments to give out to wild card to a former doper. Now, I know that sounds harsh for people. You know, we don't really like it when we say things like that because she was unintentionally doping, but regardless, she is still a doper. That's what the ban said she was. So,
and they give her 15 months for it, not 3 weeks.
Unintentional or not, apparently. So it matters, you know. So,
well, and you know what question I want to ask? When did all you motherfuckers care about wild cards before? You ain't never cared. You didn't give two shits.
They did when it was when Americans weren't getting enough. I mean, there have been two narratives around wild cards, right? Wild cards the conversations around the wild card was always like, who deserves it? Oh, this kid worked really hard. Or remember the story was always like Ryan Harrison was getting too many wild cards. That's been the and did it was it hamstringing their careers to get wild cards?
In general, nobody pays this much attention to some goddamn wild cards. You didn't care before, so don't pretend like you care now.
What I find really appalling in terms of coverage of anyone that is not quote unquote pro Sharapova getting wild card is to be dismissed as a hater of some sort. Like you can have a reasonable, pointed disagreement about her getting wild cards without having to take on the mantle of being a hater. Similarly with what happened to Genie Bouchard. Genie Bouchard is fine to say all the things she said. Kiki's fine to say all the things. Those are valid things for people to say about their colleagues without you having to dismiss them as jealous or hater. And the fact that adults who cover the sport use those terms that fans use is just weird to me.
Well, like Kiki said, Maria ain't taking my spot, and Maria and your journalist people, y'all are not taking my spot at all.
Exactly.
But you see, my problem with the wildcat situation for me is just like what I wanted, like you pointed out, the question I wanted, two things. One, it's very clear that people did not read that document that Maria Sharapova, so either of the documents.
We did.
Went to the last page, and they just read something. I saw some people even quoting her defense, as if the
or people who only came in for the cast statement, but they didn't go to the original.
Exactly.
Right.
And in fact, the cast
piece.
They didn't see all the fuckery that happened before the cast.
Yeah, because the ITF argument she launched was flawed and fucked up. She came up with a better case in the cast, but actually many of the claims she made in the cast statement and in the cast case, she contradicted things she had said in the ITF
exactly.
case. A to the men. Amen.
So if you even just reading the cast statement alone was problematic.
Don't know how to
and
read
the cast system.
Exactly. Or you don't have the attention span to read.
Well, you know what? They don't got a high school education like Kiki says. I'm just kidding.
And you know what? I only speak one language and I still managed to read it.
Well, it was in English.
But I'm just simply saying, even if they read the cast statement only, there were problems with that. And people, I ain't got time to go troll y'all Twitter, but I know some of y'all motherfuckers who jumping on the Maria Sharapova bandwagon now said, and I quote, I read those fucking statements, and this bitch should have been banned for 4 years. She was fucking doping. And now y'all changing y'all tune for something to make a point, but whatever. My question that I wanted to know, that I wanted from tennis regarding with trying to hand out wildcards to Maria carte blanche, in particular to these major tournaments too, is the fact is the fact that so she gets to dope, unintentional or not, and gets to come back and basically reclaim her position on the tour as if it was protected ranking. That isn't how it works. If it were the case that they should have kept her, should have frozen her ranking where it was. Yeah. Because she don't get to saunter into the tour whenever she wants to and any tournament she wants. And secondly, is that Maria Sharapova bashed the ITF. She dragged that organization to the muck. She called them filth. And now she wants to just walk into their major tournaments and like if you know nothing, be like, hey, show praise and get the big press. No. That's
positively Trumpian. You know, like you can't critique the very organization by calling them all sorts of names and then come back and like, can you give me this gift?
Exactly. Not give me that. She's not even asking. She's basically saying her fans are like, she deserves this thing. You need to make a show and spectacle of giving her this wild card and be bow down on your knees that Maria Sharapova is gonna show up at your event because you really need her. Fuck, they don't. y'all are
out that she
disrespecting
needs
all
them
the
too.
other women who
I mean,
worked
at the end of
hard.
the day, she needed them to give her permission to play. Because at the end of the day, listen, Sharapova's career has got a year or two left at most. All right. So she needs as much help from them as ever, really. I mean, and I think I don't even know if it's a power play. I don't care about any of these power plays, really. I think at the end of the day, I was just like, you need to ask yourself whether it was wise to give a returning doper a wild card. That's it. And because people don't want to claim the term doper, that's what it is. It is what it is. Even if it's 3 weeks doping. Some people think it's 10 years, as Kiki said.
Not some people think.
But anyways, so I mean, like, I feel like our podcast was one of the podcasts that went the hardest on it. And I think people just fundamentally misunderstood or didn't know what that meant. And I just wanted to clarify that for our listeners, that it was, I mean, if you can have a negative idea about something and it doesn't have to stem from hatred. It could stem from a perfectly rational understanding of what the sport should be about.
I'm not even saying a negative, because I'm sorry, my response to it's not negative. You can have a different opinion, and people, as Barack Obama says, you know, I'm the quote this week, okay? You're entitled to your own fucking opinions, but not your own set of facts, okay? Wow. And our opinions, our judgment on this matter were based on facts. We quoted, we have references, we cited every single thing we gotta say. Now, you people come at me with what? What do y'all have? Opinions and some smirky meme and some GIF?
Feelings and perceptions.
Have a seat.
Feelings and perceptions of her popularity.
Exactly.
But anyway, so that was and then the follow-up news was that she was not going to be getting a wild card for Wimbledon, but she was going to get a wild card for Birmingham. So people are going to be showing up at WTA Birmingham for a change, I guess.
And they're also going to be showing up at
Wimbledon wildcard.
Wimbledon
qualifying because I think for the first time they're actually charging, which I wonder if that's all accidental. I'm so weird how the sequencing work. Wimbledon decided they're going to be charging for qualifying.
But what was really hilarious about the situation for me was that Maria Sharapova was just like, I don't know where it is and what I need to do. I even like qualify for this. It's just like arrogance.
Further proving the ITF case that she does not pay attention to details.
Exactly.
Regardless of whether she does or not. Like, that's what was so hilarious.
At this crucial time.
Why are you admitting that you don't know any part of it? You know what I have to say? Can I say the other side of the doping thing that came out for Sharapova is how much it has revealed. Because one of the most positive personas that Sharapova has had for years was that she had her career on lockdown. That has been such a strong part of the storyline around Sharapova, that she knew everything. I think what she knows is her bank account. I'm not sure if
I'm here to sign her name. And to sign her name,
you know what I mean? Like, I have to say that has been the worst outcome for her because that's one of the things I respected about Sharapova was I thought she had the business side of this sport on lockdown. And it's been interesting.
This girl is the Ivanka Trump of tennis.
Well, I mean,
she's Ivanka Trump of tennis.
Reveal a kind of sloppiness, or a willing to sell that she is sloppy in her attention to detail and attention to information. Because I was like, girl, that was part of your brand.
but listen to me, I don't say this as being hyperbole. Okay, I might call her Ivanka Trump. I say this to say that around Maria Sharapova and as well around Ivanka Trump is a whole bunch of crazy narrative, right?
Yeah.
That when you look at them, there is absolutely no receipt to support any of it.
True.
That a lot of people keep talking about Maria being this way and that way, and everyone on the toe, people, even journalists, the quote unquote journalists, they all say this girl is nasty. She's a bitch. She's unkind to people. She shouts at them, and it's all a well kept secret. But and you have to wonder why it is that if this is not the truth, right? If all of this thing about these people are not true, they continue to sell this story. Why? That's what I really want to know. Why we keep selling these fake narratives when there is absolutely no evidence to support it. So for me, this is why, I mean, like you, Andreen, I thought that Maria Sharapova was very sensible. She knew that maybe tennis wasn't going to be, the thing. She couldn't play tennis forever. I mean, she had that shoulder injury, which we dragged out for a million gazillion years. But she realized that her body is fragile, right? And as all athletes know. So you have to prepare for the future. And I thought she was doing that. But apparently this girl has no concept as what the fuck is going on with her career, other than when perhaps to show up for practice.
And not listening to emails and not picking up phone calls. According to the
exactly,
they tried to call her ass and she wasn't even picking up. You know what I mean? I was like, suddenly this narrative of this super responsible, super held together person is getting ding.
And apparently this girl from Siberia, who's supposed to be this rough and tough girl, is basically a little princess. She wants everything to be handed to her on a silver platter. So she's coming back and she's ranked 400 or wherever she is. And she doesn't even have the wits about her to be like, you know what? I'm going to need to pay quality somewhere. So maybe I need to pay attention on how to find out and call up, I don't know, call up Jeannie and be like, girl, where do I play qualities? Where do I show up?
How do you enter? I mean, these are the kinds of things. Exactly. It was hilarious. I mean, just get an assistant,
call up
girl.
Kiki. Be like, Kiki, girl, you are doing me a nasty in the press. But you know what? Let's come together. Even call up Vesnina. Kuzi. Those bitches be playing quality. Makarova.
Well, I mean, I think Sharapova's tweet from years ago. Was it a tweet years ago when she was like she didn't know a certain player because he was ranked like 200 and something? Mm-hmm. And then somebody said, "Oh, I'm surprised you don't know," because then somebody she was dating was just as lowly ranked. But
I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's part of me is just sort of disappointed by that lack of by the showing of such ignorance about just bare policies, because it really
especially when they directly apply to you.
Yeah, and it just cuts at your brand. It cuts at your brand. It's kind of like if Venus suddenly revealed that she didn't know how much money women were making when she was making the push for equal pay. I'd be like, well, you know what I mean? It was funny.
I mean, like, look, you see, and this is what I'm talking about. You see, and that just proved to me that her and Monica Puig got friends is bullshit. Because who knows more about quality than Monica?
We don't have to keep going down that road. But I was just saying it was weird that she didn't know the rules of her own sport. So that was.
But let's move on. And as we're on the wildcard subject, let's move on to my favorite German. It's Thomas Haas would not be at the French Open. Praise the Jesus. Because I couldn't tell. I just had a question about
grass anyway. So head on to the grass faster.
He wanted to coincide his career. He said it was very nice. He wanted to be there. But you know what? His protected ranking no longer protects him anymore. So he's been playing everywhere and losing the first and second round.
Can I tell you, Haas's goodbye has gotten as annoying as Safin's goodbye. How long can this goodbye last?
No. Hewitt's goodbye. It's more fucking sad.
Oh, God.
When Safin was leaving,
Hewitt's
I was
probably
sad.
playing the French.
I was sad, okay? That was like genuine sadness.
Nothing like a long goodbye. I mean, I don't mind it. Listen, if you love Haas, good on you. Everybody has a thing to love. I like his abs too. And obviously he plays cute tennis. Obviously. Don't come for me, wife. Don't come for me, Sarah Foster. I know you trolling on Twitter. Are you gonna come for us?
You can at me, Sarah. I'm ready.
Yeah, don't come for me. But the thing about it is, a long goodbye. I mean, while it might be fine for the player, it is so tiring to watch as a fan. Because it's like, I mean, I guess Safin was worse because they were giving him cakes every week. It was like, I can't. It's like, this is the last time I'm gonna be in this city. No, it's not. You're gonna be in Paris next week. Okay.
Well, hey, I tell you what. Well, they don't
have to eat the cakes.
But you know what? Safin won majors, Tommy didn't. Okay, so my problem is that there's just only one story to write.
But apparently, they don't want to give wild cards out to really popular people. So you did not get it. So but you know what? On to grass. Did
Franny get a wild card?
I didn't see Franny.
To the French?
But
yeah.
Actually, I don't even think Franny needs a wild card because
she doesn't. I mean, I know she needed one in Rome and she didn't get it, but she bought a ticket and went as a fan. So good on her.
Do you know what? That was so classy of her. And I hate when people use classy in tennis because I don't know what the fuck that means. But I do think it was classy as an individual action to pay money to go to a tournament that basically said "fuck you."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And you know who they give a wild card to? Your favorite girl, Janina.
Who?
Cankles Errani.
Stop talking to me.
But wait, by the way, before we move on to our list, is there anything else we need to mention?
Any other news?
Oh, yes. One more thing. Steve Simon Stop
Shut
putting
up.
out fucking statements unless
Just
you're gonna
shut
be
the
saying
fuck up.
where we need to go to watch a women's tennis match. Okay, okay, boo. That is my statement.
And this
to
is
you.
the perfect time to say, if you don't know where to go watch a women's tennis match, please check out tenniswatchers.com, because not only do us as fans like it, Serena Williams likes it too. Congratulations, Tony, for getting her to like your tweet when she went on a rant about not being able to see women's tennis on TV. Tony was so kind to his favorite player, and he tweeted to her, well, you can check out my website.
And
Well,
She liked his tweet, and I just wish that y'all could have seen my messages.
Oh my God. I'm surprised he's still speaking. I thought he might have passed out.
I think he might have passed out for a few minutes, but he recovered quickly because he had to enjoy the moment.
Yes, and he told the whole world on Twitter that, Serena liked my tweet. Just like, well, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about, but hey, Serena liked it. But I actually thought it was rather interesting that Serena was saying, like, well, now that she's home prego and she can watch some WTA matches and watch really.
She's like, where's the shit at?
Exactly. She'd be like, let me check in and see where my girl's at. Where the girls are being.
Let me watch my sister. Oh, wait, she's not on TV.
Exactly. She got a Skype. You know what?
This problem before you start bitching about people getting punished for not getting wild cards. Wild cards are not. The lack of getting one is not a punishment, and receiving one is not a gift. It just is. That's it. It just is, or it isn't. Shut your fucking mouth and get a TV deal.
At least do something. In fact, boo, what you could be doing is paying Sharapova fans to go sit in the stand and use Periscope, because God knows that's about the only way we can see some shit going on. I mean, come on, boo. You got
the WTA has to fix this. They have to fix this. You can't watch women's tennis on TV. You can't find it. They don't even give us the fucking replays.
I mean, some people are watching it.
Which is funny because
how are people watching it? I mean, I know tennis. I know Tony gives us a real clue because you have to have beIN Sports. I see, and sometimes, occasionally, they'll show something on YouTube. Why is that happening?
Well, yeah, I think for some matches there is a live feed on YouTube. I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who makes that possible. It's usually like several points behind.
No one should ever have to go to YouTube to watch live sports.
Well, actually, that's becoming a thing now. Actually, I think Twitter is now trying to launch a couple baseball games and whatever.
Yeah.
So
it'll still be on TV. It'll still be on TV.
Actually, well, that's the other thing to TV.
I might have missed this section when I wasn't getting a drink. So, did Steve Simon say anything about when the streaming platform would be finished?
No, he's too busy up Maria Sharapova's ass.
Listen, though. Listen, you got to respect that.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know. I ain't got time for that. But let me just. I mean,
somebody posed a question to us, and I think we need. I'm hoping one of our fans could respond, because it is an open question. People say that, and I've made the claim myself casually that Sharapova is a fan. Not a fan favorite per se, but that they needed her in terms of coverage. Now, I don't necessarily think they needed her in terms of coverage for the actual game. I think they just need eyes to get people to talk about tennis, period, because her name has that recognition. But I don't know if that's ever translated into people watching matches, because if I remember correctly, Sharapova's matches are not overwhelmingly more watched than anyone else's.
No, they are, Andreen. We did this once. And you, where are you? What are you talking about? You were the one that found these stats.
I'm saying that there's this perception. Sharapova's matches, I mean, realistically, the only one that gets crossover watching is Serena on the women's side, with Sharapova a very close second. I mean,
I'm misunderstanding what you're saying.
She makes money because people are like, you know what, the WTA needs Sharapova because she brings eyes into the sport.
Well, we know that when it comes to ratings on TV, the top viewers tune in to watch Federer Serena, Rafa, and Sharapova.
Yeah, okay.
It's true. That is true.
Well, typically I would say that they only come to tune in for Sharapova when there is Serena in the mix.
No,
but
it's not true. That's not true.
But just say, I think what is being sold when it comes to Sharapova is not tennis, right?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, if you're selling sexiness, it's as long as people watch, you know?
She brings in the TV ratings. She does. We got to give props where props are due. She brings in the ratings.
But that was the question. The question was, I mean, because generally, first and foremost, WTA doesn't bring in ratings, period, in that way. So, you know, it has to be within the context of whatever gets ratings. I mean, I know something might play well in Russia for Russians. If they're in a final, Russians are going to watch. But if you're talking about ratings just on the American side,
she pulls people in.
Yeah, it's, you know, that there are only really a few names that on tennis period that pulls anyone in.
Only a few, and they are four. They are four. It is Roger, then Serena, then Rafa, then Pova. I believe that's the order of what people watch when it's on TV.
And it's weird because Rafa
doesn't matter.
And Rafa's a very, very distant second. Very distant.
Yes, Federer is.
He doesn't have as much
by far and large number one. Think.
Yeah,
and then Serena, but it doesn't. We talked about this like a year or so ago. I mean, it doesn't matter who they play.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you win or lose.
That will get
in for those four players.
And it's regional. Obviously, somebody's going to come and say, "Well, Murray, it's obviously regional. Murray gets views in the UK. Obviously, that's what happened. Kay gets views in Asian countries, mostly Japan, though. So it's like each person plays differently in regions. But if you're looking sort of just overall across the globe, generally, there are really only a few striking people who can get people to tune into tennis matches. It really is that.
Yeah. Which is why when Federer retires, they better have somebody to pull up that horse, because the hole is going to be huge. And I know y'all think that we're just Federer, loving people, and we have nothing bad to say about him, which isn't true. And if you've been around long enough, you would know that shit ain't true. But listen, numbers don't lie. For the most part, you can twist a stat to make it look like you want to. But when you're talking sheer numbers and what people are able to do in terms of performance of when, a tournament, how tickets are sold, when certain players are there, when they're not there, when they turn into TV, when they don't, Federer is on top of all that shit.
And I think you can understand why people really needed Sharapova in that line, because if you think about the fact that we're going to lose Serena Williams this year, and that name is, U.S. Open, that's going to be really important. It's going to be really important for somebody to be playing in the U.S. Open that people care about.
Yeah, because Serena has been to the semifinals or better since 2008.
Venus, you better come. So
in terms of TV coverage, it may not impact ticket sales, because yes, she sold out Stuttgart, but in terms of different spaces and where your ability to sell a rights to a match, it really matters who's watching and who's playing. So yeah,
that is the reality, folks.
But I think people say it like it's a weird thing. I mean, it was asked by us. It was asked to us, like, does Sharapova really command all the attention that people expect? And I think in some ways, in comparison to other sports, obviously not. But when you think about tennis really only has a few people that command any kind of attention. And so when you take one or two of them away, it's dangerous for the sport in that way.
I would say something. I put a rather interesting caveat, asterisk to Sharapova, not to question the numbers or anything, but it's rather interesting that when we talk about Sharapova over the ages, it's the because I recently read a long form piece on on Maria, and can I not get back that precious hours?
Oh my God! I'm sorry. That was my fault. It was my fault. I read it.
It's fine. Let no one ever accuse me.
Racket magazine.
Let no one ever accuse me of not hating judiciously, of not hating.
Yeah, I read a piece in Racket magazine on Sharapova. It was the definitive piece at the moment, right? Because nothing else had been written that was as long. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
My point is like it's rather when we talk about Maria Sharapova when she's trending, what usually surfaces and bubbles up along with it, right? I guess it doesn't matter whoever you bring the people to the court to watch the tennis or whatever, it doesn't matter. But here's the thing why I think tennis just never really fixes itself. With Maria, it's always framed when it comes to Serena, right? She makes more money than Serena, but Serena is kicking her ass. Not necessarily positive coverage, but it's playing into a very weird feminism, racist kind of point of view that they always overlook and never whatever the market forces, right? You have that. Then you have, you have the thing like, the screaming and the shouting on the court, right? There's always that, right? Should we ban it? So when Maria is trending, that always tennis people then start asking that question publicly. They're not keeping it secret. And also now with the whole thing about doping and wild card, it's just even when you have your star pupil, the person that you want to be there, you can never just talk about the tennis. You can't talk about Maria Sharapova tennis. And I think maybe I'll need to fix that a little bit. But it doesn't matter anyway. But hey, I'm just saying, like, when you're talking about Roger Federer, he's a pop culture icon or whatever. But his racket speaks for himself.
Hey, do you think that Fabio's cobra or whatever that snake was on the back of his shirt that he wore in Rome was like an ode to Federer's gala net outfit?
Well, Fabio ain't getting no other trend in any other way for his tennis. So I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? He'll be returning to the tour.
Congratulations to Fabio and Flavia to having a baby boy. I think his name is Federico Fonini.
That's a fun name. I like it.
That's a really fun name.
It's probably he's named after a friend of hers who died. I think he was a tennis player at some point, but he died early.
Yeah,
I do remember seeing him or hearing about him. He died when he was 28. It was a friend of Flavia. And they named their son.
I'm really surprised that Fabio would allow his wife to name their child after another man. I just feel like he wouldn't be that liberal.
I think they were all friends. I think
Fabio is well aware who's bringing the money into that household and who carries the pocket. And I think Fabio knows that a long time. I'm sure Fabio sleeps with Flavia's copy of the U.S. Open trophy and I swear he does. But anyway. I just want to point out before we move on to a list, because this podcast was supposed to be nice and tight, Janina. And here we are. I don't know, just how it is. But let me point out to you, ladies. I know this is not an official ranking, but I just checked into a little blonde watch and I found something rather interesting while I was making my list.
What?
So, the new full blonde Cici Bellis is now currently ranked 46 in the world.
Ooh.
Might not mean much, but let me tell you who Cici is ranked ahead of.
Oh God.
Yulia Gerges.
Oh. When did she decide to play tennis again? What happened? We just keep going backwards. But Gerges played real tennis this week.
Well, there's a post on my timeline who's a big fan of Gerges, and I read his tweets all the time. And this is typical Gerges. Okay, we show up 1 week and then we just miss for 5 weeks after.
She hasn't shown up in like 2 years.
So that's how Gerges is. Mona Bartel, Shvedova, Naomi Osaka, Jeannie Bouchard, Yelena Yankovic, Lepchenko, Dana Vekic, of course, and Camila Giorgi. So Cici Bellis she's here to snatch Coconut Wig and to snatch all those other, what do they call themselves? The real Americans, whatever they want to call them.
Oh, they're real Americans? Who are the fake ones?
Yeah. Venus, apparently, and Serena.
Oh, okay.
The fake ones don't exist.
So just
they're the darker brothers and sisters. Anywho. So
anyways, it's time for our...
You know what's so great about this ranking? We're going to cover the ranking like Bean covers WTA, which is for the last 10 minutes of this podcast.
Right? This is our third annual Top 6 Ladies.
We were supposed to be a feminist podcast, Andre. We were. And I don't appreciate this, okay? You see, y'all are making me think that this is a homosexual podcast. And we savor the men. Well, I won't have it any other way, but I'm just saying.
Well,
okay?
you know, it's really hard to pick your top 6 women when you can't even see who's doing what and what you like and what you don't. It's
and
tough.
you can't even see them at all. Period.
You
Just
can't
literally,
see them. So
see them.
I mean, this is like, you know, a blind date. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Oh.
So who's your number 6?
Okay.
Who's your number 6?
I'm not going first.
I'll go first.
I'm not going
I'll go
first. Okay.
My
Do you have
number
a theme?
6.
Let me have a question.
I didn't have a theme. Listen,
Okay.
I didn't have a theme. This was hard. Because, you know, last year I did bitches I love to hate. So I couldn't do that again, although I could always do
And the
that.
first year it was
totally
bitches I want to sleep with.
Yeah, it was. And this year I just, you know, I was just like, who's standing out to me? Who do I like right now that, I mean, fuck, I don't even, listen, I looked at the WTA rankings and I just shut it down when I saw that Kvitova was still 16. She shouldn't, this is just silly. So I was like, fuck it. Let me just, you know, pick some names and put them in order. So my number 6 is, you know, my former number 1, because I just couldn't let her go completely. And of course, it's, you know, the beautiful Svetlana Kuznetsova. I just love her. I always will love her. I'm still, you guys, I want you to know that on her Twitter page, if you click on her page, there's a phone number. It's for Sveta, for Maria, for her PR. I text it all the time trying to get her on this podcast.
Oh my God, you're no shame.
And they have their read receipts on for an iPhone. They're reading my shit. Someone's reading my messages.
Well, listen, Sveta said Sveta's gonna come on when she retires. That's all, so she can spill all the tea. So
well, you know, I'm trying.
Janina, I don't know if anyone told you this, but that's just a little bit stalkish.
It's not stalkers. It's public information. It says for press and PR, contact me here, and I send a text about once a month, and I'm like, can we get you on the Realz Tennis Fan Podcast?
Honestly, you're stalking at that point, but I love it. I don't care. I love it.
I don't care.
I'm not kidding. You are diligent and persistent.
Sveta is funny, and if you listen, we have seen people interview her that do it well and show how fun she is. She's funny, and I think that we could have a lot of fun on this podcast with her because, I mean, like, seriously,
but
Sveta, come on,
the real
come
question
on here
is
and
who's gonna mop up? Who's gonna mop up after Sveta's on this conference? Who's gonna mop you up after?
You know what? Back off. Back the fuck off. Anyways, Sveta is my number 6. Even when her tennis is shitty, she's still taking great pictures and she's beautiful, and I still want her.
So my top 6. This year, I had no theme except straight up. I just picked who was sexy. I went straight to the real. I didn't even care about how they're doing tennis wise. Because really,
sexy 6.
I looked at the list of people who were doing well. And I was like, but
yeah, right.
I was like, all right. So I went right back to the superficial. I was like, who's sexy? Like, who just looks like they're fucking hot? And that's what my list is. I think these are the hot babes on the tour. And so my number 6 is the hottest of the hot. She might need to adjust her clothing often. Her clothing is probably the one thing you notice about her, and her wild ass tennis. I went for Camila Giorgi. I think Camila Giorgi is extremely hot.
Oh my God, no way.
I do. I think she plays trashy really well.
You know what's crazy about that? Do you know what's insane about that?
What?
It's mother approved.
Exactly.
Mother
I mean, her mom put her out there and was like, listen, this is what I want to put my daughter in. I hope you like her. I hope you like her hot, sexy outfit.
I do not find her even the least bit attractive, but hey, whatever. To each their own.
She look like she's insane though. I just keep thinking they're trying to have dinner with Camila Giorgi.
She does look like a crazy bitch.
I know.
She's
gonna cut you.
Listen, crazy ex-girlfriend time. That's what it is.
No,
Realz,
I don't want to have to go be the bitch. No.
It is always so interesting.
I don't have to be the lady.
When we do this podcast, it is so interesting because our resident homosexual struggles so much.
I do.
You know what's so funny about that? How come we don't struggle? I mean, we're not in the vagina business, but it's not difficult to look around and go, that's hot.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I think he thinks
I
that
struggle.
he can be judged by the other homosexuals who listen.
God.
If he
It's
says
true.
anything
You
about
gotta pick the right
vaginas.
host. You gotta pick the right
Now, maybe it might be a little, but you know what? It might be a little bit of that, but it's also like, you know, like when it, I guess as a homosexual man, that when I look at a woman, it's almost like a deity and, you know, divine, you know, like you got to have a lot of things,
Yeah,
things come in there.
Yeah. You guys expect a lot.
You have to meet, there's a high criteria.
Yeah, you gave away
And you know
a
what?
lot of things you want.
A lot of these women don't measure up.
No,
So
you
this
want people.
year,
You want
my
people to dance
theme-
in heels. That's the kind of shit y'all want.
Yeah, we do.
All right,
I don't come out looking like Johanna Conta. We just no, we're not about that.
okay.
Because you know
Issue
what?
number
I'll tell
6.
you something. So my list, I had a theme. There was no other way for me to do this. I couldn't randomly pick some girls, women, I should say. My list is, I wrote it down somewhere. It's my theme is now. Serena, make or break you.
What?
Like, I mean, I think that all around.
Serena, babe. These are people Serena. These are people Serena would pick to date. What?
No.
Did Serena make or break
I don't do
you?
chicks. This is why I don't do it. Let me take that back.
No, I'm just
In the
kidding.
absence of the real number one, sorry, Angie girl,
Mhm.
I decided to pay homage to the Serena, who's soon to be mother Serena,
Mhm.
in the category of when beating Serena or nearly beating Serena ain't enough.
Oh my God.
Where are they now?
I am so
That's
ready
it.
for
See?
this.
Oh my
All
God, right.
That's a good one.
Okay, my number 6 is your favorite girl, Janina, Sarah Irani. No, I know many people seem to think, let me go out, and many people seem to think that Sarah Irani, Serena's punching bag. But there was that one time in 2015, Fed Cup, when Sarah Irani almost
Fed
did the
Cup.
impossible.
On clay, right?
On clay. And I tell you what, Serena got her life together and got that French Open title. And that helped carry that whole Serena Slam, Grand Slam thing. So Sarah Irani almost upset that horse cat. So Sarah Irani is my number 6.
fuck shit up.
Listen,
But I tell you though,
you know who Sarah Irani comes for that real hates Venus. So
Mhm.
that was stop it. Flashback. But I have, where is Sarah Irani now? I looked it up. She's ranked number 90 in the world. But and you know
Wow.
what? She's 0-9 against Serena. But that one time, she almost nearly beat Serena, and still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. So, moving on. I'm keeping this really interesting. My list is always fun. Just putting it out there, even though I struggle to make that list.
Are you saying our list
So-
isn't fun?
Crickets.
Where are the crickets?
Crickets.
You know what? Fuck you.
feels
All
like
right,
I couldn't
number
figure out who
5.
I wanted to sex up, so I had
I
to.
know, right? I mean, what's not
Okay.
fun about that?
Homosexual people. Oh my God, lesbians. Oh. But anyway, if y'all
Number
were lesbians, I
5.
would still love you just the same. Number 5.
My number 5. My number 5 got on my list because she liked to talk a little bit of shit and she was actually able to back it up. Miss
Ooh.
Bouchard.
Oh, number
Ooh.
5.
She said,
sexy too.
"This bitch was my hero. I looked up to her growing up, and you've crushed my dreams because you're a fucking doper. And I don't think that you should ever be allowed to play the sport of tennis again." And then she went out on court and kicked your ass. I like it. You can get it.
I did too. And I will be there buying you drinks when you do hang out with her. I will be there
Perfect.
with you. Yes. I'll be a good Judy and hang out with you girls.
Okay.
Andrine, your number 5?
My number 5 is every now and then this young lady shows up and plays tennis. And it's a surprise to everyone that she can play tennis.
Oh shit.
Hmm.
Must be
Is it
good.
Angie Kerber?
But the most
Is it
important
Angie?
thing about her is that she has wonderful hair.
Hmm.
My number 5 is Julia Gerges.
Oh shit! You know what?
Julia
She
was
is
like,
gorgeous.
Is Julia Gerges playing again? And every time Julia Gerges shows up, I'm always like, yes, Julia Gerges can play tennis.
There was that one
She's
time,
hot.
remember?
She
Remember
is
there was
very
a time.
pretty. You know what I mean? Julia Gerges.
She's
The funny
gorgeous.
thing
No,
about
she really
Julia
is.
Gerges to me, though, is that she must be completely unaware of it because she does not play it up at all.
No,
Like,
not at all.
She could have
I
an
think that's-
entirely different career
Yeah.
if she was an American girl, or if she was somebody who knew how to sort of put that whole thing together. She could have a totally different kind of career, but Julia Gerges seems to think of tennis as a hobby of some sort. I don't know what happened. There's seasons where she's just not around, and every time she shows up, I'm like, Julia Gerges, you're so gorgeous. Where have you been?
There was a time when she was gonna blow up, and also I would have to say that she's one of these few people in the world who looks hot, sweaty.
Yes.
You know what? I was just going to say that
Yeah.
she actually looks good when she's playing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well
she looks
done,
good, sweaty.
Yeah.
Well
Look, I
done.
told you my list. When you try to find the hot one, if you don't worry about the tennis, you just got.
We're not here for the tennis. We're here to objectify women. It's what we do best.
Objectifying women. I mean, the rare chance that ever happens. Because
listen, I'm really good at it.
You are.
I have no shame in it.
My number 5 is a Russian.
Better not be my
And
Russian. I'll cut a bitch.
First of all, your Russian she's too inconsistent, but whatever. I'm just saying. Your Russian says she don't be in all the locker rooms. She don't be in certain locker rooms with certain people like Jeannie. So your Russian and Jeannie.
Who's this Russian?
This Russian is Ikat Makarova.
I knew it.
Oh.
2012. 2012 was the year that Serena should have won the Grand Slam. But Ikat was not having any of that shit in Melbourne.
This
Like,
bitch showed up and said, "Not today."
Here's my backhand. That's what she said. Here's my backhand.
That down the line backhand was just like, I was like, bitch.
You know what though? I remember that match. She played ridiculous.
I'm telling you.
I've
She
never
didn't
seen her
check
play
into
that well.
Union then because I'm sure that bitch would have been pissing dirty. In 2012 round of 16, Ikat, I'm coming for you. And I'll let you know though, Serena never let that down. Serena will bagel that bitch every time she sees her.
So true. Love it.
I tell you, I'm not even joking. Like, since they've played, I mean, Serena bagels her routinely, and generally,
Listen,
Ikat
Serena does
doesn't
not
win
forget.
more than 3 games, more than 3 to 4 games a set. So Serena is your mark for that.
Serena
Oh, and
Williams is a
Ikat-
master grudge holder.
Yes, she is.
And I tell you what,
I love
remember
it.
there was a time when Ikat was a regular feature in the second week of majors. She was. You see, Ikat has been to the semifinals of US Open like 2 times. So you know where Ikat is ranked right now? She is ranked 40 in the world. And ain't nobody checking for Ikat to even get out of the second round of
Damn,
any
she's
tournament.
ranked 40
So,
and Petra's 16. Girl, get it together.
exactly.
You know what?
So
But Ikat's like Julia Gerges. Every now and then she remembers she plays tennis well and she shows up. Sometimes she goes away though.
Obviously.
yes, I think she's more featured in doubles now. She and Vesnina are still together, right?
Yeah. I
So
think so.
she's on that doubles train. So here again, my number 5 of when beating Serena ain't enough. Beating or nearly beating Serena ain't enough. Where are you now? Ikat is my number 5. Janina, you're number 4.
My number 4, someone that I like to sing about sometimes, who is, we've already discussed a little bit. She's an excellent wig snatcher. The one, the only,
Oh,
Svitolina. Gotta
That's
love
good.
her.
yeah.
That's
Gotta
good.
love her.
And she got
good.
that
You know
room
what?
check for you today.
She's kind of cute. She actually is kind of cute. She has this really kind of girlish, feminine quality about her.
She looks like a Cabbage Patch doll.
Look like a Cabbage Patch doll. She's just very feminine. I don't know. And you know what? I will never forget the first time I saw her play. I had no idea who the fuck she was. She literally had 4 fans in the stadium that I was watching her on, and I'm pretty sure they were all family. And she beat, I think it was Carla Suarez Navarro. And Carla was looking too, because she was playing really well at this time. And she was looking like, who the fuck is this bitch? And who are these 4 people cheering for her, getting on my nerves?
I love when that happens. I love when that happens.
And I'm like, damn, this girl, who is she? So yeah, get it, Svitolina. Cabbage Patch.
She does. She has those nice puffy cheeks,
Yeah,
and she's very quiet. But you know what? She's very sly. You know what, Elena?
Because she's a wig snatcher. That's why she's sly.
I made the same mistake with Petra, and Petra would steal your husband. So, Elena, I ain't trusting you around. No, I don't. That little quiet disposition. Nope. Nope.
All right, come on.
I sense a theme with mine. Aside from the fact that I think they're sexy, I think
they can't play tennis.
I think they're dubious on the tennis.
You never know what you're gonna get on the court, but off the court, you are 100% certain.
Okay, so I really think Heather Watson is gorgeous. I do.
Oh no,
Heather Watson is really beautiful, and I wish that she could put it all together better. That's when I realized that Heather Watson is Julia Gerges somehow.
Oh wait, I'm not. No, Heather Watson is. I was thinking of Madison Keys, and I kept seeing all these teeth, but no, Heather doesn't look like that.
No.
Where has she been?
Injured. Oh yeah, she's struggling, losing matches. She's gonna find her form at the U.S. Open, I think. I know the USD is praying she does.
Right?
They're praying that she and
Madison, you mean?
Round into their own Madison. Oh. But Heather Watson for me is she's more of like a Audrey Hepburn sort. She's very pixie-ish, very cute, not too sexy, but there's something very appealing about her. She is. Yeah, there's something really sweet about her. She's very girl next door. Mm-hmm. If you lived in Philadelphia where there are Black people,
she's the girl next door who will do well in high fashion. Not all girl next door can do that.
Yeah,
Heather can be zhuzhed up. She should be zhuzhed up. She has Johanna. Talk to this girl, okay? I know you don't see her on the tour anymore. She's lost, but Johanna, get some tips from Heather. Not tennis tips, but definitely some fashion tips.
Something, please.
Looking foul. She makes a statement. Not always a good statement, but it's certainly not the kind you'll be making, Johanna. So
she doesn't work.
Hang out with your Fed Cup team, man. My number 4 is very, very dubious, and not dubious, I should say, very nefarious and notorious, I should say.
Ooh.
It's none other than Roberta Vinci. She's number 4. She should have been up there.
She should have been number 1.
But you know what? I just gotta say, Roberta wasn't doing shit. You don't know who number 1 is. Roberta wasn't doing shit before that US Open match. And we can thank Jeannie Bouchard. If y'all want to be, look, y'all don't be dragging Jeannie Bouchard for fucking drag Jeannie Bouchard because she didn't handle her business in that locker room and took her in 2015. Okay? Because that walkover give Vinci strength and energy to handle Serena. Okay? So people see y'all fans. But anyway, Roberta Vinci hasn't done shit after. But
that win was her mark of death.
I'm telling you, she has been milking those points and doing bail just enough to stick around and be featured around anyway. But it certainly hasn't helped her with any endorsement deals, anything. Beating Serena or nearly beating Serena ain't enough. And Roberta Vinci is ranked, if I'm not mistaken, 34 in the world. So you'll be back to seeing her in familiar grounds, unseeded at the majors. So Roberta is number 4.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah, number 3.
Okay, number 3 for me is someone that we all know and love, and I have grown to love her more and more and more over the last year. I've always been a fan. She's always been someone who was in my, tennis world always try to watch her play, but something is just different lately. And it is the one, the only Miss Venus Williams.
Oh, Venus.
Oh, we don't just love Venus. We worship Venus Williams. She is queen here.
She is like, yes, and I wrote that in my notes, Queen V. She is like really special lately. There's just something, I think it is the sheer joy that you see from her when she plays. The twirling when she wins is better than ever. I think
triple pirouette,
right? And I just, listen, something that is going to survive the test of time, and we are going to hear this when we talk about Venus in 30 years from now, is going to be that encore interview when she says, "Girl, I don't know." That is going to be around forever. And I just love it so much. So much.
We need that as a sound effect, don't we? I think we do.
We do.
I think
Girl,
we need that sound
I don't
effect.
know.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Girl, I don't know. We're going to have to download that.
Love it.
So,
I mean, that whole Australian Open was special. And I think, you know what?
So special.
This is what, and one of these things, I mean, maybe it's because in the advent of Serena, we don't talk about this. But, a lot of people need to watch and learn the determination that Venus Williams has had. She could have called it quits in 2010 when Showgirl showed up. And, she had to withstand all the hateration and love and upset and anger from her number one fan, Realz. And this bitch is still rolling. And Venus Williams is putting in the hard work.
She doesn't care about you.
I know she's your number 3, Janina, but you know what? Venus Williams is not even on any list because she is special.
Oh,
I even forgot that she said all lives
that was
matter.
Venus.
I even forgot she said all lives matter. That's how special Venus Williams is.
You forgave
Until
her.
you remembered.
Until you remembered, right?
I forgave her. Had that been anybody else, I'm telling you.
So, of course, no list is complete if I'm going to talk about sexiness, giving sex, having sex, being sex. If I don't put Genie
But just
Bouchard
winning
on
no
the list.
sets. But can't
As
win
well
no
as
sets.
continuing the theme of dodgy tennis. Oh my God, my list is a mess.
I love your list.
My number 3 is Genie Bouchard, because you know what? Rafa ain't the only one that know the truth about Genie.
Look at Andrew spilling tea.
No, but no, I think Genie is actually, I don't think she's conventionally pretty, but you know what? If you walk like sex, talk like sex, that's what people can think about. And she wears sexy outfits, constantly trying. I think she doesn't need it, but I think she tries to bring the sexy in tennis, and I appreciate that.
And she looks really cute in a hat.
Does she?
Look,
Yeah.
I admire any bitch who sits down and look at a man's penis and be like, I want to ride that dick.
What?
I look.
What just happened?
Remember when she did Grego in that helicopter? She was like, look, I see penis, I want penis. And let me tell you something.
That was classic.
You get props for that.
Like what?
You get props for that, Genie. Look, own your hold on.
Genie
Own
gets
it.
props for looking
Own
at
it.
every single guy in a picture as if she's wants him for a snack.
Listen,
She
Genie
has
gets
remained
props
healthy.
for actually
She
having
has
half of them.
remained healthy and safe and sound. Okay, so always one hold to another. Genie, you got top props from me, girl. You
Oh my
do.
God, Mano, you
For that. Never drag it for that. Never.
did not call yourself a hoe.
Lord.
Listen, I'm not even going to shame you, Genie. I say you embrace your
No, madam.
sexuality. You do you,
Yeah,
girl,
you do.
because you bring a little sexy on the tour, and I think that's great. I don't know if you can bring the tennis, but as long as you try hard.
But we have said this, right? We have said this on the podcast several times. You have these top athletes, hot bodies, hanging around with each other. Who's not gonna be fucking somebody else in there?
Listen. That's the game of life, and you
Use a
do,
condom.
Genie. If I could learn a little bit from
That you do.
because I
Mhm.
travel. I should have sex more often than I am. So
Absolutely.
Genie, I take my hat off to you for always trying to bring the sexy on the tennis. If you could bring your tennis a little bit, we'll be good to go. And that mouth of yours. Keep talking shit, okay? Because
I'm backing it up.
You're representing of the millennials. The millennials don't give a shit. They want you to follow the rules.
Back it up.
They speak their mind, and I like it.
Amen.
You, Jeannie. I don't know what's going on with that court case, though, girl. So take care of that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. Let it go.
I don't know.
Is it my turn?
No, girl, trying to make some money because you're not. Hold up, girl. First of all, it's not your turn. Secondly, Jeannie gotta make the money where she can because she's still not making on a quote from prize money.
So she can't show up to beat Sharapova every day.
Exactly. So
Well, she's probably blackmailing all the men on tour that she's already fucked and getting a paycheck that way.
Oh snap! I can't with you. I cannot with you.
The crickets have gone silent.
Why are you so extra? Why are you so extra?
Exactly.
Why are you acting like you don't know what's going on?
I'm innocent here. I'm innocent.
Okay. My number 3 on my list is interesting. It's none other. I'm being all Americana here. It's none other than Christina McHale.
Oh God.
Yes. Christina McHale always shows up to try to beat Serena.
She really does.
And that is usually the highlight.
They both sit in a corner and have images of beating the top.
That is the highlight of her year. It's almost beating Serena. And did you know that she has a win over Serena? Though by technicality, it's only a retirement. So the first time they met, they didn't actually meet. This was in 2015. Again, that interesting year with Serena. They were supposed to play in Rome, and Serena didn't show up. Serena pulled out. And then that's been the place of, they've had 3 major battles afterwards, and Christina, she tries. But she certainly do try when she see SW across the net from her and doesn't win. So that's why, and it still hasn't done anything for her career. So that's why she's number 3 on my list of, when nearly beating or beating Serena ain't nearly enough.
If you could just put her in front of Serena once a year.
Oh my
those
God.
matches are life.
That
Wimbledon match was insane.
Yeah, and Serena needed that win, and she needed that title too. So,
but
I mean, this is going to be really.
She snatched the loss right out of that girl's hands. She was like, "Oh." It was really good. It was really good.
Do you know where Christina McHale is currently ranked? She is currently ranked 62 in the world.
Wow.
And Cici Bellis is ahead of her. Yep.
You Cici's PR agent.
Right?
I'm just saying. Because let me ask you something, ladies. Let me ask you something. How many times do you really see Cici Bellis as opposed to probably see Christina McHale name somewhere? I recognize that care.
Listen, I wouldn't know Cici Bellis if she knocked at my door.
I wouldn't know Cici Bellis.
Exactly. And Cici Bellis has a ticket for the Fed Cup. And
Bellis selling me Girl Scout cookies. I think. I don't know. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup.
And Cici Bellis is preparing because she went from a brunette to a blonde, so she knows how to bring the boys to the other.
Good for her. You do it, girl. You do it. She's basically girding her loins until the U.S. Open. She's gonna be really good.
Exactly. And you need to come in, and you need to come into U.S. Open with a lot of steam and energy behind your name.
Good girl. Good girl. I love it.
How it does.
All right.
Janina, who's your number 2 pick?
My number 2 pick rules the WTA, and she ain't even around. She's winning majors when she's pregnant. She's throwing shade on Twitter just by liking stuff. She announces things on people's birthday just to probably, deflect and say, I'm better than you.
Just to fuck with people.
She's number 2 in the world. Hasn't played tennis since August.
She probably won't even fall out
in January.
She probably won't even fall out of the top 20 by the end.
None other than Serena. I mean, really? Come on, guys. Serena is a shady fucking bitch.
We love it.
I love it. I love it. I fucking love it.
Wait, Can we talk about the fact that you're talking about your girl Serena? That picture, that horrible picture where she was like people in Kmart. That she was standing.
Oh my God, that is, you know what? That is a damn shame, because that's the picture the media is gonna be using in the future.
You talking about the one at the dollar store?
Yeah.
Great.
Look, someone said it best, and I swear to God, I had the same thought when I saw the picture. I didn't even see the caption. I saw the picture first, and then I read up the caption. I was just like, someone read my mind. I forgot who it is, and I'm sorry I can't quote the person said. Someone talked to her before I hurt her feelings. And I swear to God, same thought. I had the same exact thought.
You know what, though?
And then
there was another great caption to that picture.
Go ahead.
It said that because if you notice, there was like a pile of trash on the floor. Right? It's someone shared with me that it was Serena looking at the state of the WTA while she wasn't around.
You all are wrong.
I swear to God. A similar thought came to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Serena.
And I was like, I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Andrew,
Serena, I just gotta say one thing about your girl, Serena. Serena, you know, I saw your story with your TED Talks conversation with Gail, Mrs. Oprah Winfrey. Psych. But I'm wrong. I'm fault for that. Forgive me, Oprah. Don't snatch my life. Don't snatch my life.
She's gonna come after you like she came after Monique.
You will never work again.
But let me just say, Serena, don't be telling these kind of stories how you accidentally posted a picture of you pregnant on Instagram. Because if that were the case, you would have accidentally posted a picture of Alex's penis. So don't come with that bullshit, girl. No.
Nobody's
tell the truth.
Nobody's taking pictures of their
tell the truth, girl.
That was from the 90s.
So that's why, you know what? You need to get with the times. People are posting people have all kind of pictures of themselves. I'm telling you.
Listen.
I'm letting you know.
Well, we know what you do in your spare time, don't we?
No, I do not. I'm an old school whore. Okay, I'm an old school.
Yeah,
whore.
He's old school. He keeps it on the DL, not that DL though, but just not on camera.
Exactly.
So,
Andrine, you're number 2.
I'm totally stealing from Janina's list, but I saw her today. She wasn't even going to be on my list, but I saw her today. And you know what? The best way for Svitolina to show up is unwashed with her hair, or just like she's just washed, I guess, with her hair out, no product in it. She looked like a girl from a 1990s pop video song. Rock song. She was wild looking. I was like, Svitolina, that's who you should be. Do that more. You know how sometimes she shows up and looks like a school teacher? that doesn't work. Svitolina showed up especially on her presser, and she looked like she had just towel dried her hair. And I was like, Svitolina, there you go.
Be a rock star, girl. Be a rock star.
Rock star, Svitolina. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to choose one person who's winning at tennis. And so
you do need to pay the bills. You do need to pay the bills.
She's reversed the trend. And Svitolina made it on my list because for a moment there, I saw that Svitolina could be not nice girl pretty, but hot. And I was like, that's good. Bring the sexy, Svitolina. So I'm stealing your Svitolina, Gasolina, Janina, and I'm putting her on my list. And you know what? The thing about Svitolina too, she's like a deadly assassin. She doesn't say much. She just shows up and snatches when she can.
Right. Exactly.
She don't say much. I don't see quotes out of turn. Unlike my other fave. She never says anything.
She's just snatching
Simona, I don't know anything. I don't see nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what, can I tell you? Simona is so gutless in that way.
That's why I don't fuck with her. I don't fuck with Simona.
Simona
can't really say anything because she doesn't talk to anybody.
I know. She's like, what's the?
But
she's
you
like,
know what?
She's like, what's the least objectionable thing I could say? And then Simona's like, I'm gonna sign on to that.
But you know what? I bet she has a tell-all book, and she's gonna be spilling secret galore.
I'm reading.
She should be.
Simona
She should be
puts out a
keeping
book.
notes.
I'm reading that shit.
You know who? You know whose book I want to read though.
Kiki's.
I want Jeannie's book.
I want Kiki's book. I want Kiki's book in 5 languages.
You know what? She won't even have the book translated. She's just gonna write it in 5 languages.
Exactly.
Right.
She is. That's why we love us some Kiki. My number 2, I'm stealing from you, Andreen.
Ooh.
Running seam of, when beating Serena is not nearly enough.
She came close.
It's none other than your girl, Heather Watson.
God, do you remember that match?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Again, 2015. 2015.
Did you know
pivotal
it?
year for these bitches, pivotal year for these women. They always try to come hard at Serena when there's a major. And you know what? ATP, you should learn something about this, You should learn a little thing or two. Just saying. Heather Watson, it's their only meeting. And I'm telling you, the amount of press and fanfare that Heather Watson got from that one match.
I know.
I'm telling you. It was more inches than ever before.
But you know
where she's ranked now?
Heather Watson. I mean, when you play a match like that, you've got to walk around feeling like, why can't I do that every day?
Well.
And then, of course, there's an answer.
When you're just fluking.
Well, the WTA act, right? They just show for one match. The girls just show for one match. They just play across them. They just like, trying to with righteous indignation. I want to beat this bitch today. And Heather Watson.
She tried though.
Is currently ranked. Guess.
Oh, no.
475.
70?
They don't put up ranking like that. Nobody checking for you down there.
What is the rank?
Not even me. Andreen, I need a number from you.
I said 70.
She's 125.
Damn, Heather.
What happened?
You know what?
And Heather was not. And listen to me. And here's the most interesting thing about that. I don't think it's injury. She's just not been winning matches.
No, she hasn't been. Yeah, she's.
It's too bad.
You know what? I mean,
I think she's pretty.
Think about it. We have Heather Watson on our list, both of our lists, and I know Joanna Conte ain't on it. And look at her, the number 1 player. This is what I'm saying, Heather. Chances, Heather. Oh,
yep.
Man,
just when it's not enough, Heather, you could have taken that almost win and translated it into so much more and something. Even being the number 1 British girl could take you somewhere. Look at Anne Kiatavong. Somewhere.
Look at Andy Murray.
Honestly,
what you got, girl? Heather, what you got?
Heather retires, she'll have her, but I feel it's so sad. I think Heather will have a much better career retired than she will now.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
she'll be a good face for TV.
Well, you know what I mean? She's very pretty. I mean, listen, we all know the reality. She's very personable. She's very charming. She'll play really good on TV. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's kind of, it sucks. I wish her tennis would.
And she's international. She does have an international connection. I think she's like, parentage and family all over in Australia, in England. And those are two big tennis
TV
places,
likes to cast beige, and she would pass as beige.
Ooh.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it in the business.
Oh. Okay.
Casting beige. Which is like, she's not quite black. She's not quite white. People could really relate to her. Let's cast her in this. I know. It's real racist.
And it's real, people. And it's real.
It's real.
You're number 1, Janina. That's my drum roll.
I bet you all of us have the same number 1.
Ooh.
I think we might.
Okay. My number 1 is the shit talking queen. She's sexy as hell. She's been on Andreen's list before.
Yes, she has.
And listen, yes, I am ready for her tennis to catch up with her mouth. It is slowly getting there. It is none other than Miss Kiki, shade throwing, 5 language speaking. Bitch, I will
grabbing
come
and
for
dragging Charlie
education. Man, listen, this bitch is hardcore. Do not fuck with her. She will come for you. She will spill your secrets and not give 2 shits. She doesn't even sound like she cares when she's talking. You ask her a question, she's going to answer it very matter-of-factly and move on. And if you were in the wake of her wrath, sorry. Love it.
And she's Serbian too.
Love it.
And she's Serbian. So
listen, we need a shit talker like her on tour for some excitement for these boring ass ladies.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
She is bringing it. I don't ever want her to change. Girl, I ain't fucking with you because I know you'll cut a bitch.
You know what?
I know.
Just win some title, girl.
She's my number one too. And she's my number one because on the opposite side of my sexy scale, Kiki, that gap tooth Kiki, the hair, the looks that she has on court, she's just sexy to me. I look at Kiki and I was like, she's drop dead sexy. And then when she opens her mouth and she starts shit, that is just hot. Like, I mean, she's not mealy mouth. I hate a mealy mouth person. And my favorite male is not mealy mouth, and therefore Kiki moved all the way up from my list. I think she was like 4 last year. She just went all the way up to the top because she shit talks, and then she's drop dead sexy, and then her tennis is fun and interesting now that she's finally getting it together. So you know what? I'm all for that. I'm all for Kiki succeeding on the tour. I like her. I like her personality. I like what she brings to the game. I think I hope that she can do something great at Roland Garros. I really do. I hope she doesn't freeze. But she likes the big moment too. That's the thing too. How many people like the big moments and are French? Not very many. So
can you imagine a French woman winning there?
And let it be Kiki?
How fun would that be?
How fun would that be? I like Kiki. I think she, but you can't tell her your secrets. Let's just be honest.
Don't tell her nothing.
Don't tell her
if you don't want to get down, don't tell her nothing. Because she will tweet you. She will give it in an interview. Man, listen,
you out, but I like it.
She is the real deal.
Calls you out. And people might make fun of her gap tooth, but the gap tooth is sexy. A little bit of imperfection. Just look at Lauren Hutton. She reminds me of Lauren Hutton, actually.
Yeah.
And she's great. She's my number one as well, Janina. High five.
Hey.
She's like keeping me alert on the WTA side. Like somebody doing something interesting. You know what I mean? Like not many people are doing it. Aside from Venus being her usual regal self, but I didn't put Venus on the list because,
that's okay.
I didn't put Venus because I didn't work.
I told you Venus is above list. Venus doesn't do these mundane things.
I was like, can I put Venus on this list with Jeannie Bouchard? No.
No, you cannot. No,
throwing shade at me, Andreen.
I know.
Venus is above these categories. She's above these categories. So my number one pick, Realz is always extra.
Who's extra?
No list cannot be complete if we're talking about when beating or nearly beating Serena ain't enough. It's a duo. We're going to start out with a Frenchie. So we got that in common. Cornet.
Oh, God.
You can't talk about such a list without Alizé Cornet. Alizé Cornet is 3 and 4 versus Serena.
I thought you were going to go for Rosano.
No, Rosano beat Venus, not Serena.
No, she did. She beat Serena at the Wimbledon at the French.
Yeah, the year she came back.
God.
That's the year that started Serena on her tear.
That's right.
God.
Round one.
I'm not even Serena's son, but we don't talk about that. Serena should have lost. You know why? I was kind of happy because Serena came out there looking like a Tic Tac in that mint fish girl.
Oh my God.
That shit. I couldn't see that shit in round 2. Go home. Go home with that shit. That outfit.
I'm telling y'all right now, don't ever fuck with Realz.
I'm telling you, what's crazy? Green is
because you look like a Tic Tac.
You weren't ready for the spotlights of Riri, girl. Come on.
You know what? That loss was pivotal. It changed everything for Serena after a while. So there you go.
Yeah, but that changed for Serena. Rosano go back to being out of nowhere. Nothing happened.
Well,
she was just like
that's Rosano. See, she would have been good on your list because she doesn't even have a rank.
Right? Oh, good Jesus, no. She just show up at the French. Talk about a fucked up wild card. She be getting fucked up wild card all the fucking time. Okay,
but Cornet's good.
And you want to talk about fucked up wild card? You go talk to Tin Henman and Patrick Rafter. Okay, so because they lost their fucking Wimbledon because of Goran Ivanisevic is wild card. So. Yeah, don't act me with this fucking. Y'all don't know wild card bullshit and drama. You all don't know.
You don't know nothing.
Exactly. Y'all tennis started in 2011. Don't even come at me with this shit.
Listen,
But Alize Cornet is dubious for always trying to drag Serena. And she's 3-4. Maria Sharapova wish she had a 3-win against Serena Williams.
I know.
Hilarious. Man.
Alize was like, call me up, Sharapova. You got some questions.
I can tell you one thing or two. I mean, Alize Cornet always feel like she's winning even when she's losing against Serena. And it has happened. It has happened. Okay. Here's why. Those wins has done shit for this girl because she's never won the next match.
Nope.
She's never translated that into anything to go anywhere. She's never even been. I don't even think Alize Cornet has ever been to the second round major. Just never been. Nope. But she still got 3 wins that Maria Sharapova don't even have. It's what none of these other women, I think few women, probably Venus, Kim Clijsters, Capriati, Lindsay, Hingis.
Yeah, the oldies.
Very, very select company. None of these bitches even playing anymore. Except Venus. And Venus is the only competition to be 100. Venus has the most wins.
That's good job for Cornet.
So it's Alize Cornet, and we can't complete a list without talking about where are they now? What the fuck is going on with Gabina Muguruza? Talk about Gabina. Can we talk about Gabina?
Oh, poor Garbina.
Look, Gabina has stopped Serena dead cold. Dead cold. There has when Gabina has been on Serena's ass, there has been no other way to look at the match than Gabina was winning that match. There's been no 3-set thrillers. There's been Gabina come out and she's just like, you know what, girl? I'm gonna send you home.
She beat Serena though.
Twice at the French Open, and it's always been decisive victories. But Gabina can't follow that shit up to go anywhere. She can't take that.
Well, she is Spanish.
Wait, she beat her twice at the French?
Yep. In 2014, she beat the defending champion in the second round. Or the third round, I think it was. Yes,
that's what Spanish people do. They perform well on the dirt.
Oh my God. You know what? No wonder people love Garbina so much. Huh. You know what's so funny? I totally forgot how amazing Garbine was in that Wimbledon match because she's so hit and miss now. I still remember though, Garbine played a really good match against Vika live early in the year. Last year, I think I saw it live. Yeah. She was great.
Yeah. She's a good player. She has a very good serve. She's tall. You know, she could be good with the ground stroke. She moves well. But the thing about it
could be good.
I mean, she has got a slam, but
shit. Wow.
I mean, nobody really felt that slam that Garbina won was a fluke, right? We all, you know what I mean?
She played well. She earned it.
I thought she was going to keep going because then didn't she follow it up by doing really well at Wimbledon?
She did. She was in the final, wasn't she?
Yeah. So it just seemed like she was poised to become, and she was like Jeannie. You know how Jeannie was hungry for fame? Garbine seemed like she was ready for that too. And then suddenly not.
Yeah, that's what happened, girl. When you show up in a jeans shirt and a jeans skirt.
Oh, shit.
You will never forget over that.
Never, girl. Dressing like a backyard barbecue.
That's the combination you want. You want a combination of great tennis and like rabid ambition. And either you have one, but you don't have the other for the tour sometimes.
And Garbina only has it at sea when Serena's in front of her. Only.
Apparently. Somebody should wear a Serena mask. Bring the Serena mask out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, but that could be a little bit racist. I was thinking the same thing for Christina. But I was like, you know what? That's a little bit racist. That's a little bit racist and awkward. Oh. Those Christina and Garbina would do well to imagine it's Serena across the net.
They should. Give them extra energy.
But they would. I'm a Carver. Remember that 2012 girl? Remember that 2012 Australian Open?
That was a good list, Realz. I like your list.
Yes, and these ladies, they all have the strange thing is that a lot of these women touted to be top 10. These women should all solidly be in the top 10.
Oh wait, did we share anyone? Janine and I shared someone. Did you share anyone on that? Did we share anyone on your
Heather
list?
Watson.
Heather Watson is the only just you and I in that. Okay. No, I think one year we all had one person on the list. Was it the year?
because we were looking, that was the only year where I did like I could potentially be a good girlfriend.
Yes,
you know, I can hang out with you.
Yeah.
But I could be a beard. That was, I think was
I
my
think
list.
we all had Sveta on our list one year. Go figure.
Never.
Svetlana Kuznetsova?
If we're talking about looks, you know who? You know, honorable mention. Let's talk about Sabine Lisicki. She could be on anybody's list.
Crier. I mean, actually, you know what? I totally forgot about her. Yeah, she could be. She's very sexy.
No, her teeth are a mess.
Well. You got keep me on your list. I want to talk about teeth being a mess. I'm not.
She doesn't look like she has vampire teeth.
Look,
Sabine will bite you.
I don't know. My problem with her was I was actually going for more badass a little bit, and so she and the crying really.
Sabine is not a badass. Yeah, she's not a badass. She's not a badass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for honorable mention, because my list seems to be like full of bitchiness. You know, you got to put Pliskova on there.
Oh,
she is like fucking.
I was wondering about. I know it's so funny. I wondered if she would make your list because you know you like her.
I do like her. She's just in a slump, so I don't talk about her.
Well, you still got Kuki on your list. Talking about slump. I ain't got Kuki on your list.
She's never leaving. Okay.
Your logic is flawed. I don't get it.
Don't you worry about my logic.
Lisicki didn't make my list because Lisicki didn't. Oh, that was the year that she got to the finals, right? When she beat Serena at Wimbledon, 2013, right?
Yeah.
When old Bartoli won, and then new Bartoli showed up, and now old Bartoli showing back. And that's really this list.
We do not have time to talk about Bartoli and her.
I just want to say one thing. I want to say one thing.
To see her back.
I always want to say one thing.
That's the Bartini. That's the Bartoli I recognize. I'm happy.
Stop with the lies, bitch, that you don't eat bread. Cause that new old body you got, that is gluten if I don't know gluten.
That's good though. Good for her.
That's bread. Thank you for eating that breadstick all day long for lunch. Good for you. So as we close,
I like my list. Woo-hoo. That was our top 6.
I love my list.
Sexy too. 6. And what was yours? Serena 6.
When beating Serena or nearly beating Serena ain't enough. Where are they now?
Where are they now? It's like a VH1 special. Where are they now?
So Gabina is number 6 in the world. If she does not defend these French Open points, which it looks like she will not because she has a neck injury,
theoretically,
she's gonna be in there as a watch.
You're buying that shit? Whatever. Okay.
Well,
so the next time we get together, it will be our live draw show.
Which has to be this Friday.
Looking forward to it, and I think we have a fun theme. I think. Did we decide on it?
We do.
We do. Did we decide? Because I have no idea what it is.
Did we decide on
it? Okay. Sure.
This is off podcast discussion because I don't know what you're talking about. I did not get it.
I threw that right in there because
you didn't click the link.
I know how much Realz loves our themes.
Yeah, let it be known that Realz actually hates it. He liked it for like the first time, and he's like, "We don't always need to do a theme," and I'm like, "Yes, we do."
You know what? Let me also qualify that by saying I am happily wrong every single time.
And
it's always fun.
We want to remind you. So I don't know. I guess you know what? As always,
so it'll be live on Friday.
It has to be.
Yeah, the draw comes out Sunday before that.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing about it is I always forget that there are also tournaments happening between this.
That's because we don't have time to pay attention to the little shit. I mean, like, Stan, why are you playing this week? You fucking dumbass.
You better stop.
You better stop. A lot of people are playing actually.
Because
Stan's going to fuck around and win the French Open.
Exactly. Stan showed up for Genoa in 2014 and that motherfucker won that shit.
Watch what happens.
2015, sorry if I'm not mistaken. 2015.
Stan has 3 more chances to snatch a title. We'll see which one he takes for the rest of the year.
Because he's fucking taking one.
So we're looking forward
we'll see you on Friday.
Thanks for tuning in.
Watch our timeline so you can find out what time it's going to be. Those of you across the pond, take a fucking nap and get up. We're fun.
Gina has no respect for time zone. None.
Zero.
None. She doesn't care.
None.
She imagine we all live in Eastern Standard Time. She does. She's
that
like anything else is exactly. So let's hear what your list is and your theme, and comment below wherever you can. And please be commenting, okay? And let's hear some fun ideas for themes, because I don't know what these ladies are talking about. I did not get an email. I did not see the email. I'm going to be sharp over into shit. So if you have any fun ideas of what themes we should do for our French Open draw, which should be coming out on Thursday, it's on Sunday. Don't forget that. It starts on a Sunday, people, properly in Paris. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.